And we are live. Welcome to the Friday Night Chat, episode 77. I am your host for the night, Greg. I'm Redneck National Capitalist. Uh, we have some people in the panel. We do this every Friday night at 7:15 p.m. We are an open panel show, so the link should be in the description, and you should be able to join in. But be warned, I have a troll wall up. Uh, Iron Man Australia, any opening thoughts?
Uh, Not sure I can hear you, Alex. Just don't go live yet, okay? Fucking. Otherwise, I'll figure out our show prep, and I know this is a nothing burger fucking show. Our viewers are stupid as shit anyway. So what the fuck do they know? All the stuff we talk about is bullshit. Oh fuck, we live?
Yeah. All right, Zach Douglas.
Nothing much, man.
Okay, and with that, we can go to our first talking point: justice versus the justice system, and how.
Oh, that's a huge fucking talking point. Yeah. Oh, well, that's something I was going to go into in a big way, but yeah, you might want to start with something a little lighter. How about CNN?
All right, yeah. So, as part of Project Veritas, where they go, if you're not familiar, they go in and do like kind of almost sting operations, right? Where they'll go in undercover with hidden cameras and audio, and look for people that are basically breaking the law or doing something unethical, and just like actual journalism, mud raking type stuff. That's not just opinion pieces and I asked somebody in the government and they gave me this response and now I give it to you. Basically, they've infiltrated, well, they claim they've infiltrated a lot of different legacy news stations like CNN, Fox. They released an audio tape of an editor, I believe it was in Alabama. Yeah. Anyway, an editor there basically going about how the the Russian collusion with Trump story is a nothing burger in his own words, that there's no real evidence behind it, and basically just complaining that he's got to report on this stuff. He can't really talk about much else because then the people higher up are, what about Russia? Talk about Russia. So, um, in his own words, it's all bullshit. And this is if you've been following it, if you're, in right wing circles, you could probably tell that it was bullshit based on the fact that they gave no evidence, no sources, anonymous sources that they never cite, and they constantly anonymous source, anonymous source, anonymous source. But this shows that even amongst these journalists, they know it's bullshit.
Yeah, it shows the wrong attitude anyway, doesn't it? Even if you look at these little quotes and you sort of think, well, this is like Van Jones saying that story's a nothing burger. Maybe that's his personal opinion. Maybe fucking everyone else in the whole fucking place believes that it's not a nothing burger, right? So it's kind of like maybe it's just a little gotcha sort of thing. It shows a fucking pretty bad attitude towards their job. Like. What would you like to see journalists saying behind closed doors? Like if you're a fly on the wall, what sort of attitude would you like to have them to have? And not just joking around and fucking by the water cooler, but like actually when they're seriously talking about their job. And I like James O'Keefe because he obviously he's got a bias, like he's got a particular agenda, but. Sure. If you get the video to show something, you actually do investigative fucking journalism. That's different to just sitting around making shit up about Trump or whatever.
Certainly, and I think it's more. It shows sort of the legacy media that is Fox, CNN, and these other the people under them the lackeys, the people actually writing this stuff, they're getting their talking points from on high. They're not doing it out of this sense of, well, of course I'm making money, but I'm a journalist, right? And I'm gonna be allowed to go try to find the truth. And like, if I do a good job, I'm rewarded. They're being mouthpieces, essentially, for large companies and wealthy people like Carlos Slim and these other guys. They're not individual journalists like O'Keefe would be, and like these other um, people that are competing with them. They're just fucking propagandists, but most of them are not ideologues. They're not doing the propaganda because they care about it or they have an issue they really love. They're doing it because they get a paycheck. So of course these fucking people don't believe a lot of the shit they're spinning. They've sort of sold their soul in a sense. And it's important that it kind of be exposed to people that essentially most of what we think of as like the legacy media are just blogs for wealthy people. They're just propaganda machines for certain companies, or they're hollow fucking shells of a company that's just trying to make money, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but there's no higher.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. No, see, I mean, this is like, it's probably a bit of both, right? You got to keep the fucking lights on. So, it's like anyone who fucking runs a YouTube channel that they're fucking getting paid for. They got to keep the lights on, so they want you to donate to their Patreon, all this kind of bullshit. Do they really have a great idea every single week for a video like that, or every single day? Are all their videos like top-notch fucking quality, produced for artistic reasons, or did they sit around fucking think, oh, we got to do a fucking video this week, right? Now, if I saw them having a conversation in the back room where they're talking like that, doesn't bother me so much, But if they've really got no, like this is a criticism of movies lately, do they really have an artistic vision, or are they fucking just making a movie so they can hang on to the rights or some bullshit like that? You're going to get a shit movie, right? You're wasting your fucking time. You don't want to give them money. Transformers series has been making money, but is it art?
Well, people have this sort of they believe in the media, right? The popular media, the media that's been there because it was a natural progression from like CBS or Walter Cronkite and the others to this sort of CNN, Fox. They're considered like those who can bestow truth upon people. They're more credible than other people. So I think this sort of mudraking against them is very valuable. I think it's something that it's imperative to do. It's imperative to go after them. If you're the president, criticizing them, calling them out on their shit. If you're James O'Keefe, going and finding where they're doing unethical or sketchy or potentially illegal things. It's important that we go after these fucking people.
Well, the thing is, it's easy to catch these. Like, people are just doing this stuff so fucking blatantly, right? The media acts like it's fucking so difficult or fucking impossible to catch these people in the act, right? And there's a story recently where the headline was interesting because it's like, a guy pleads guilty to bashing the head of a mannequin in with a hammer, right? Like, that was the headline. You think, what the fuck's this? And it's there's a guy going around bashing homeless people while they're sleeping, bashing them in the head with a hammer. And so the cops just put a mannequin under a blanket, set up a camera, and waited for the fucking guy to come up and bash the fucking mannequin in the head with a camera, with a hammer. Sorry. Like, oh gee, fucking, you have to be Sherlock Holmes to figure out this, how to stop this crime wave, right? You don't have to be a fucking genius to come up with something like that. Same with O'Keefe, going in and actually trying to get some actual fucking facts, some real fucking opinions, not just fucking like making shit, sitting by his computer making shit up, or fucking interviewing people with where they know all the fucking questions, and Hillary gets all the fucking the questions for the debates and all this kind of shit. I mean, real fucking journalism. Just like that's what people need to fucking that's what people like really want in a fucking media. is some kind of fucking reality to it.
I think it's what. Well, yeah, certainly they want some kind of reality to it. I think it's sort of the mass populace. They don't care per se, but it's effective to discredit these people, because once you call them bullshit, like once this veil of it's what we all use to get our information from, it's very easy to win over those people that are just going along with it, right? That don't care, just the people who are. I get my news from here and there, but it's all fucking legacy shit because the name is popular. But it's sort of a fail. The reason why these people are able to do this still and make money in the cases that they're still turning a profit, which is increasingly rare, is sort of a failure of the populace.
Yeah. I mean, there's another recent fucking event at VidCon. What's her fucking name? Anita Sarkeesian decided to criticize Sargon Akkad, and this has been a big thing in social media and shit from the stage, because he decided to go to her fucking little panel that she was having on feminist bullshit as usual, and so I don't give a fuck that she called him a garbage human, she called him this or that, but fucking just the fucking non-reality bubble this fucking person fucking lives in. I mean, like someone got up and asked her, do you really believe the shit you say in your videos, or are you just doing it for the money, basically? I mean, this is the kind of question they're directing at her, and that's a real fucking question. That's a question on everyone's minds. Does this rich bitch really fucking believe this shit? Because obviously you can be controversial and just for the sake of it to get clicks, right?
Certainly.
And I mean, I don't honestly expect her to answer, but it's good to have that question put to her. And her response is, "Oh, you're a troll, get out," or something. No, you're not a troll. Just like James O'Keefe isn't a troll. He's fucking like actually trying to find out these kind of questions, And so it's not even a gotcha, and her answer is insufficient, There's ways to really go after these fucking answers, and journalists aren't fucking doing it. Like mainstream media is not fucking doing it. That's the fucking problem. I mean, another related.
I was just going to say, I think with the mainstream media, I mean, I believe in the First Amendment. They can say what they want, but they also have a responsibility. They drove somebody so mad with the whole Russian thing that he started shooting congressmen. Now, I'm all for shooting congressmen, but the fact of the matter is that he was doing it under, being driven insane by the fucking Russian narrative, which is, like they said, a big nothing burger. So I think that blood's kind of on their hands.
For shooting Congressman Zach, and that's with 1K. Just putting it in my FBI report. No, but a related issue on the YouTube thing is, I mean, this bitch Lacey Green, she's did this big tearful fucking emotion-filled fucking thing. Me and Sargon met at VidCon, and we hugged it out, and we talked about like all our disagreements, and everything's fucking great now. It's kind of like, well, I don't give a fuck. I don't give about her emotional fucking little speech. I don't give a shit about that. What I give a fuck about is the arguments. Like, take one particular argument, like the pay gap, right? Like, all I care from this bitch is like, okay, are you saying that? Do you believe the pay gap's bullshit now? Are you fucking do you understand the argument that is total bullshit? And anyone who doesn't fucking understand the pay gap is total bullshit, like a big lie, doesn't understand how statistics work and fucking averages and shit like that. Are you still a fucking idiot, right? Because the way she talks is still using all this leftist fucking language, right? I don't believe for a second this bitch has actually fucking got a clue, and she's I think what she wants to do is she's been teaching from on high about sex and feminism and fucking, you know, like this leftist social justice crap, right? That's falling out of favor. It's falling out of fashion. And now she wants to do some big apology or do some fucking little fucking pivot where she can wind up in that position again, teaching from on high, fucking whatever fucking shit's popular, right? And it's like, no, bitch, you fucked up. You were spreading fucking lies and bullshit. You're a dumbass. That's why you either believed them in the first place, or you didn't believe them. You're a fucking liar. You're a liar or a fucking a liar and a con artist, or you're a fucking you're an idiot, right? A useful fucking idiot. So like, get to the back of the fucking class, right? Like fucking, you can't teach the fucking class anymore because we found out you're a fucking idiot, right? And you still don't fucking get it. And it's fucking obvious. You think this is all about emotional and fucking hugging out and all this kind of shit. Fuck you. Shut the fuck up. We've been telling you to shut the fuck up for years. Now fucking do it. Now, if you're a fly on the wall in her, like, it'd be interesting to be a fly on the wall in her fucking house and find out what she actually fucking believes, or fucking Anita Sarkeesian, find out what she believes, or fucking Hillary Clinton for that fucking matter, right? Like all these fucking people, what do they really fucking believe? That's what the media should be trying to find out. That's what people should be trying to find out, the fucking truth. And I really do hate niggers, just in case you're wondering. Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, well, I'm here. Where'd you go?
Looks like I had some technical difficulties.
Ah,
Everything
I
operating
thought I was having
again?
I thought I might be having the technical difficulty. That's all right.
Hello?
Hello. Hello. Is it me you're looking for? Okay. Well, I might as well talk about this justice versus legal system thing while these guys are sorting their shit. Okay, so it's just one of the topics I want to talk about because it's kind of relevant to a lot of this shit. So, you know, there's justice in a cosmic sense. Hang on, I'll just tell Alex that I can hear him. You can't hear us. Okay. Okay, so there's justice in the cosmic sense, you know, that everyone kind of recognizes. But there's a legal system which can't really give you that justice. They can, you know, like the justice system, it's like, you know, it's someone comes up and punches me in the street. I can tell a third party, I can tell a judge, this guy came up and punched me in the street, but I can't really prove it, you know, and they got to sort of weigh the evidence and figure out whether I did. And you got to have innocent until proven guilty and all these kind of standards of evidence. So the justice systems can't be turned against people in an unjust way. And that would be unjust in a cosmic sense. So, you know, the thing is, you can actually have justice in the situation if I hit the guy back or I defend myself against the punch. So there's sort of like this conflict people have got, and this is a big thing in politics at the moment. Can you punch a Nazi or this kind of shit? People are wondering whether they're trying to get actual cosmic justice as opposed to what the justice system offers. And sometimes the justice system is fucked up. Like in Canada, they're saying, oh, you know, like Trudeau wants it so to make it illegal to fucking not use people's pronouns, proper pronouns or fucking preferred pronouns, which is obviously bullshit. I think we're back. Well, I took the opportunity to tell everyone about your sexual habits while you're away. I hope you don't mind.
What?
Well, how you told us everyone in the room that you're gay, like when we're off air.
Yeah, no, that's not the case.
Hey, it's okay, man. It's okay to come out of the closet. You can admit it.
I believe it's KK that likes chicks with dicks. It's not me.
So brave of you, Alex.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, brave.
I mean, what is
brave.
what is the definition of faggotry? I think. I think it's.
I think he's protesting too much. I was talking about the justice versus legal system thing, right?
Oh,
so,
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm talking about you can have justice, you can have justice, like people want real justice, right? Like cosmic justice. You can have that more in the actual situation if you if you've got a gun and you can defend yourself and all that. You're more likely to get actual justice than if you've got to go to a fucking court afterwards and try to explain to a third party what fucking happened, right? And try to convince someone else, right? So, giving people the right to defend themselves, like, it's not even, recognizing their right to fucking carry the means to fucking defend themselves would probably be a better way to put it, right? Then you're promoting actual justice. I mean, if Spider-Man swoops in and fucking, catches a bad guy, that's actual fucking justice, right? But he's outside the justice system. He's outside the legal system.
Well, yeah,
but everyone likes him, knows he's a hero because they recognize what that is.
The principle of justice is not exclusive to one monopoly. Like, you cannot support the monopoly on justice per se, right? But the court is where you decide where justice was actually done and try to settle disputes. Yeah, certainly. Like, people conflate the two all the time.
Yeah, and you can't. So the justice system can't give you perfect justice, right? The legal system can't do that, right? Because it wasn't there, right, to see the actual act, right? So you got to go through evidence and all that kind of bullshit. Got to argue it out. If you pervert the justice system, you're creating more injustice. So, with this Canadian thing with Trudeau saying you can't fucking use someone uses the wrong pronoun to some faggot. Right, then they're going to fucking use the justice system against you. They're going to fucking fine you, arrest you, or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, they're subsidizing injustice.
Yeah, and the just action in that case is to, the perfect justice in that situation would be to shoot, shovel, and shut up. Right. So because what would happen is if you create two classes of people, like faggots and heterosexuals, right? Cisgendered, you fucking and they can come up and abuse you, and you can't fucking abuse them back. They can try to make you do something that you don't want to fucking do. That's unjust. Then if you killed them, buried them, and fucking they just disappeared off the face of the earth, that would be justice because they were fucking trying to violate your rights. Okay, so that's the kind of situation they create with this kind of shit, right? Like fucking Nazis can come up and abuse Jews. The Jews fucking should be fucking getting rid of that fucking Nazi. Not you can't necessarily take down all Nazis individually, but you can, any Nazi who comes up to you in the street, you're perfectly justified to dispose of, right? As an individual, you can get perfect justice in that situation. Just got to act. Just got to take the risk, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's always an opportunity cost there, but in most cases, I've noticed people just sitting by kind of idly and not taking it because, it'll be hard to prove later or whatever, which is a real concern, but you shouldn't just let people walk all over you because of that. You shouldn't just allow injustices to happen because if you're right, there's obviously a certain point, right? There's a certain point where you're going to go, no, I can't
I can't accept this. You've crossed the line, and I know that I can prove myself in court that I was fucking justified.
Yeah, like Hillary gets elected, and she makes a law that all heterosexuals, to prove they're not bigoted, have to suck a dick. So, like, any homo can come up to them and say, "You have to suck my dick to prove that you are not, not bigoted against fucking gay people." Right? What are you gonna do? You're gonna fucking start killing people. It's that simple. You're not gonna fucking do it.
Exactly.
So, you can walk that back to other situations. You don't need violence. You can fight it out in court. You can leave the fucking country. Probably want to leave the country at that point. So you can avoid killing people. You can avoid all this risk, But, sometimes it's just a matter of fighting back, like in the actual situation, like individuals fighting back, rather than thinking, oh, we got to get this law changed. We got to do all this kind of shit, a simpler example of this that's less controversial is if, you're a farmer and you've got a neighbor, his farm's right next to yours with a fence dividing. He comes over one night and steals your horse, right? And you'll wake up next morning and look over in the field and your horse is not there, it's in his field, right? If you went and stole your horse back, right, you're, in a moral, cosmic sense, you're getting justice. You're not doing anything wrong at all, actually, right? But legally, you're trespassing on his property and you're stealing. And if you're caught in the act, you're taking the risk of getting caught in the act. And him using the legal system against you, he stole the horse off my property, right?
Yeah.
And people go, like, just balk at that risk. They go, well, no, you can't go and steal your horse back, right? Like, that's wrong. You can't fucking do that. And it's like, well, yeah, but what happens if I do, right? Like, there's two scenarios. Like, one, I can prove that's my horse anyway, right? So if I get caught, I get a slap on the wrist for trespass. But I say, hey, look, this is my horse. He stole it, and I can fucking, like, use the legal system against him. So he's probably not going to fucking push it, right, in that case, right? Like, I'm going to steal it back, and he's going to shut the fuck up, right? In a situation where I can't prove it's my horse, and he's stolen it, and it's like possession is 9/10 of the law kind of situation, right? I don't want to get caught stealing it. But say I did. Like, does the risk of whatever the punishment is for stealing a horse, like, what's that compared to just being a cuck and fucking taking it, right? Just letting people steal your shit. Like, that's my only fucking horse, or it's a cow and the milk feeds my kids, And this guy's literally stealing milk out of the fucking mouths of my children, right? Like, what's the consequences of fucking just being a cuck, right? So, and you notice the legal system can't fix everything.
And you have to then weigh in the cost of the injustice being allowed to continue, because then what's that going to do for other people? You're kind of setting a precedent for the people around you. Do you want to be that guy? Do you want people around you to just suck up to injustice like that? That's something else to consider.
Well, what I'm getting at here is, like, free men have to operate on the basis that they're fucking free, regardless of fucking, they could pass a fucking any fucking, the dick sucking law, and free men should operate on the premise that they're fucking free men, and they don't have to fucking do that. And, like, anyone who tries to violate their right to not suck dick is going to fucking die if it comes to that, right? I mean, that's basically what I'm saying, But, like, there's so many of these fucking little cucks that are like, oh, you can't do that. That's against the law, or that's violent, or that's bad, or my mummy told me fucking that's stealing when she slapped my wrist and I had my hand in the cookie jar. That's wrong, You can't fucking think like that.
Doesn't that describe religion? Faggot. So, Alex, you're a faggot?
No,
speaking of dick sucking, this is KK, and he likes chicks with dicks.
That makes him a faggot.
What, Alex? What part? The chick part?
No, we're not having a conversation about your gayness this week, faggot.
I have a quantitative argument why liking Futanari chicks is less gay than.
Okay, can you bring up the topic?
I got a quantitative argument too. You're a faggot.
Yeah. What were you going to say about Iron Man's argument? You said something about what? It's religion? What? What were you going to say?
He's just talking about like how calling something bad just because your mommy told you makes it bad, right? Same thing with religion. Same argument with religion. Who the fuck tells you stealing and murder is bad? Who, Iron Man?
Nobody.
Oh,
I didn't fucking say. I didn't say it was. You're a fucking idiot. So shut the fuck up. You fucking
same argument.
loving faggot.
I was just saying it's the same argument religion makes, right?
So what? Am I religious? No. Fucking.
I don't know,
do I
I'm
fucking
talking-
believe
I'm
in
talking about
morality
other
and fucking
faggots.
some universal?
Talking
No,
about
you're a
the faggots
faggot.
who
Fuck
are
off.
religious, right?
No, fucking follow along,
Or
dickhead.
people who I didn't say you were religious.
You're a fucking autist.
I was referring to all the religious, most of the religious defense. Religious.
Then you are correct. If you agree with me, you're correct. Because everyone who agrees with me is
I don't
correct.
agree.
Everyone who disagrees with me is not.
I don't agree with you on that little.
That's a pretty good argument.
What?
Well, it's the only argument. That's the only argument needed against KK.
No.
Everyone
So,
who
But do you realize, Alex, what Iron Man was arguing for? That's what religion argues, right? The only reason
So,
why-
who gives a fuck what religion argues?
I don't know, half 80, 90% of the room.
So what? Why
I
do you
mean, not
bring that
really.
up?
Just because religion agrees with something doesn't mean it's necessarily inherently bad. There's
Reasons
lots
to
of
think that's stupid because Iron Man was calling that reasoning stupid.
No, it's calling you stupid. Stupid.
Yeah.
he never
Fuck off,
made
KK. You're a
the
garbage
case for-
human.
He never made the case for universal morality.
No. It's
No,
not
he-
universal
He was
morality.
calling the argument that just because your mom said something's bad, that it's bad. He's calling that stupid, that argument. Which is,
Yes.
which is basically the same argument that religion makes. You get it now? You guys follow?
No, we follow. We just follow the fact that you like chicks with dicks and you need to fucking die. Kill yourself.
I like chicks with dicks versus chicks, right? That
Yeah, we
me
don't
less
care.
gay
We
than
don't care what you
rape
like.
Porn with one dude fucking.
Yeah, we don't care. We don't honestly don't give a fuck about
Which
your
you
sex
rather
life.
watch, right? A chick with a dick fucking a chick, or a dude fucking a chick, right?
You following along? Do you get it now that we don't care?
Well, you keep calling me faggot. I'm
You
less
are a
of
faggot.
less of a
Why are you
faggot
upset about it?
than- I'm not upset.
Why are you
about
upset?
it. I'm
Don't
not
let your
upset.
emotions like override. You know that you're a faggot.
Yeah, but I don't let my emotions bother me when it comes to the important stuff.
Yeah, we're just pointing
You
out
chicks with dicks.
that
Call me
logically
faggot. It
you're a
doesn't-
faggot.
doesn't-
Like we've deduced that.
Wait, Iron Man just deduced you're a faggot. For what reason was that?
No, you're a
No,
faggot.
I said you're a faggot.
No, earlier you're just calling Alex a faggot, right?
Oh, he
No, I
was
was calling you a
using
faggot.
He was using the
I was gonna interrupt, but I had
colloquialism.
some meat in my mouth. I mean, chicken.
Like we're not using like the colloquialism that like, you know, oh, you're a faggot, whatever, ha ha ha. Like no, we're literally calling you a faggot.
Yeah, well, I don't see the reasoning.
Because you like chicks with dicks. You're a faggot.
So is that
Alright.
a chick or is that a dude? You said chick with a dick. Chick is by definition is female, right?
What color is your skin, KK?
Brown. Why?
Yeah, what shade of brown? Like, is it light tannish sort of shade or like darker shade?
Dark.
I just want to know what fucking color they need to add to the fucking LGBT flag.
I don't get it. So
I know you don't. Just because you're a faggot.
flags have the colors of different races.
They do now. They recently added black and brown to the LGBT flag to represent black and fucking everyone who's not white.
Everyone knows
People with
except
faggots.
KK.
Why would I care? I'm not gay.
Yes, you are. Look, if you got all these LGBT, fucking XKQW, fucking YZ, like all these little fucking things that are like slightly not heterosexual, like questioning or something like that, right? you're definitely on that. You're definitely a faggot. You're under the fucking rainbow flag.
I would have to be attracted to males. I'm not attracted to males.
You're attracted to a dick, so that's pretty fucking male.
On a chick. On a
You're a
chick.
faggot.
Doing another chick.
You're a faggot.
Oh.
Yeah, no one cares about your fucking
with a hairy ass
perverted,
dude doing
fucking
another chick?
degenerate fucking sex life.
Dude, it's the internet, dude. Like, I blame evolution. I can't control my fucking impulses.
No, I blame you.
I'm not a
You,
faggot.
you think that you can't control any of your fucking... You obviously control some of it.
No, you can't control what you're attracted to. Bullshit. Then,
I think that...
if that's the case, you're arguing that you can. It's acquired. That you,
KK, get religion and pray away the gay. Okay, pray away the chicks
I
with
don't need
dicks.
religion, right?
I'm telling you that if you have a specific... I don't believe you have a natural fucking inclination to like a chick with a dick. I think you're a fucking faggot. Or what's more likely, in all actuality, is that you've
just
watched
saying,
a bunch
I'm
of
just
fucking
saying,
weird
the
anime
album-
porn until you got weird fetishes.
Degenerate autist.
There's a bunch of weird fetishes that nature didn't account for, never accounted for the internet. So, like, if
Even-
I'm just saying, if Jessica Alba had a dick, right, I'd smoke it.
Yeah,
But
you're
does
gay.
she? No. Does that make me gay? I don't think so, because I'm not attracted.
That's one for the quote archive.
All right, let me adjust this. All right, so recently, we can go into the fertility rates. So the CDC just put out their population report. So I went and got the info on that, and so let's get into that. So according to the CDC, Centers for Disease Control population report, fertility rate is down to 62 births per 1,000 women aged 15 to 44. Now, when you dig deeper into it, they said that it was teens and women in their 20s that are producing less children than ever before, and that's the cause of the decrease in fertility, the decrease in the population increasing. The older women, women in their 30s to 40s, are the ones that are actually increasing the number of births per 1,000. So overall, it seems that births are decreasing. Now, I think a lot of that has to do with the white population not coming anywhere near replacement levels. And this is, even the CDC says it's concerning overall.
Maybe it's
that we're
statutory
not-
rape laws. Maybe you should blame those.
Shut up, you autist. So what we need to do is, like, because it's equality of opportunity, right? It's not equality of opportunity, it's equality of outcome. We got to look at these figures, and then we got to kill, like, non-white people to bring them back into line with the white birth rate.
So that everything's equal.
Yeah, quality.
So how does restricting what these women, who these women have babies with, how does that increase the reproduction rates?
It increases
only
because
that,
shut up, faggot.
what about statutory rape?
Shut up, faggot. What about it?
Serious question. Both of those. Answer those.
Answer what? What about them?
So if the reproduction rates are decreasing, if your demographic that you're concerned about the reproduction rate is decreasing, how does restricting what races they can reproduce with?
Okay, two reasons.
What does that
A,
do to their reproduction
you're a
rate?
faggot, and B, shut the fuck up.
They're already decreasing.
I haven't proposed that as necessarily a solution. The solution is white people to have more children.
That's this room's general solution with everything, right? You'd agree. Would you stop with that petty, shifty shit, right?
Will you stop being a homo?
No, literally,
You want to stop being a homo?
we
Not
argue
only,
that
not only that, I mean, let's
people
face
usually
it,
argue that race mixing is overall
maybe
negative,
you should
but
maybe
it's
you
of
should
course
abolish-
not the solution it's not the solution to our birth rate. It's not the solution to our replacement rate. It's not even the main problem, and I don't think most people would say that it is.
What does it do to your problem, though? Exacerbate it or alleviate it?
Yes, exacerbate it.
Okay. So, what about statutory rape laws? If you're concerned about teens having babies, right?
You seem obsessed with statutory rape. Why is that?
Women in their fucking 20s should have kids. I mean, I'm just saying the CDC lumped in, 15 to 20, and then into up till 29, and then 30s to 40s, and then elderly, of course, is not really going to be much of a concern because women aren't really having kids when they're.
And also, what does it matter? What does it really matter when you can have artificial insemination, genetic, artificial wombs and stuff?
Is that happening right now?
What does it matter, right? I mean, in the short run, just give it like. Your race isn't going to die in 20 years. By then, I'm pretty sure genetics is going to be.
Well, I'm not making the case that we're going to die. I'm making the case that we'll be a minority.
A minority.
I mean, the children that are already being born are a minority.
And what does it matter? Your relative standing. Democracy.
Because yes, you'll lose power.
What does it matter? What does it matter if a chick has a dick? Huh?
We'd like to get into the implications of it, because I think Iron Man kind of has a slightly opposing view, that it doesn't really actually play out so harmful. I mean, because once you become a minority, in order to assert your interest in politics, you sort of have to group together and look after your like tribal interest rather than focusing on politics as it has been played out. You have to focus on what's good for my people, what is good for that kind of stuff, rather than focusing on economics or any other disagreement.
You can't affect these policies with a constitutional democracy.
You don't think so?
No. It'll have to be like very implicit. That would slow down your progress at all, if not stop it completely.
You think that
exactly. So you can't
whites being a minority will have the same protections that are afforded black people now? I don't see that happening.
What you're seeing now is just temporary. It's a temporary phenomenon caused by it's just a reaction from it's an overcorrection from slavery. That's all. But it's temporary. I mean, it's just as long as they're the minority, right? They can do this, right? It's only the minority that can do this. It's that underdog. Well, I mean, if you look at underdog status that allows them to get this.
Yeah, but they're never going to.
Once the tables are turned, I don't think there's nothing for you to worry about at that point.
How will it turn? If you look at,
you're claiming you'll become a minority, then at that point you're going to become the underdog. At that point,
we're going to have to be fighting against the fucking other ones to even assert our interests.
Fighting. What do you mean fighting? Fighting against what?
We're going to have to group together to make sure that they don't fucking go after us.
What do you mean? What do you mean go after you? How?
Politically persecute us.
How do you do that in a constitutional democracy with a constitution with a section in the Constitution called the Bill of Rights? How do you do that? How do you threaten another race? Because you guys, I mean, just tell me. I mean, you just scaremongering it?
Well, I mean, they continue to.
They can. And how do they gear race without? They can gear it toward like higher income, but they can't explicitly direct it toward any race, right?
Like I said, it's more of they're not going to stop blaming us.
You don't have to answer now.
They're not going to
think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to continue to. I'll see if I can, but it's more that they're going to continue to blame us. They're not going to go, okay, now that we're the majority.
Blame you for what exactly?
For the fact that they fucking have a higher crime rate. It's the racist cops. They're going to fucking keep blaming us. It's Whitey. Whitey is the problem. That they're going to continue that.
So they blame you guys for that?
Yes.
And so what policies do they affect with this blame?
Sorry, what did you say?
What policies? What policies did they affect because of this blame? Did they make it illegal for police to profile?
Yes.
Effectively, is that the case? I mean,
No.
and is it really a law? I mean, is it in only certain states or what? I don't read, so
You're not allowed to like specifically fucking profile people as like you can't just say, oh, I'm gonna go after blacks because they commit more like you have
And
to.
let's just you've already admitted effectively it doesn't exist, right?
Uh,
At least you didn't
Okay,
admit
so-
he likes chicks with dicks.
How else will they attack your race through legislation? Because
well, they're gonna continue. They're gonna continue
nullify.
like they're gonna continue the fucking diversity quotas and shit. They're gonna continue to
diversity quotas. What are you talking about? Diversity quotas in Europe?
like in college and no, not in
In
Europe.
college? I don't think there are diversity quotas in college.
You don't think there are diversity quotas in college?
No.
You don't think there are diversity quotas in college?
Federal laws that mandate this? Laws that mandate this?
what we're talking about laws now? You don't think the
It all
diversity
has to
quotas?
be
Yeah,
laws.
because he was concerned with democracy. I think that's specifically what we're talking about.
Go blow a goat.
I am the reason why all I was simply saying is that if you're a minority, you have less say in the fucking government unless you group together. And if
Yeah,
you group
and I'm
together
asking
based
you-
around race
And
rather
I'm
than
asking you with a
ideology,
constitutional background, how is that a worry for your race?
how is it a worry that if we lose political power, it's going to affect us negatively because we're going to have
Little-
less
yeah, of
say in
course.
the way things are done?
As a group, but
What we want is
ultimately,
going to be less
ultimately,
reflected.
you're afraid this has dire consequences for the white population, right? And still, I don't see it, right? You're not explaining
Yeah, but
why.
you don't see that a chick with a dick
So what-
is not gay. So you don't see a lot.
A girl with a dick. Isn't that like contradictory as far as trying to determine gender?
Yeah,
a
but
girl with a
dick. But dick.
But
Dick is the
chick.
most important part of that. Dick.
Chick, come on,
I mean, that's
Chick.
a male part.
chick. It's a male part, but it's female. Other part's female.
Yeah, you're a faggot.
Not a fag. I'm not. But anyways, right? It's scaremongering, right?
You just can't into logic. You just don't know how logic works.
And who's the one actually? Who's the one actually affecting policy to destroy the brown people, right?
Who's the one who likes chicks with dicks?
No one.
Oh, really?
You think that there's like a yeah,
A
the
war
name
against
of law.
Muslims?
Oh, so fucking that's such fucking horseshit, dude.
There's a war
You-
against
you-
Muslims?
No, there's not.
No. Okay. So we don't occupy Muslim
There's-
countries. We haven't waged
Yeah,
war.
we occupy fucking white countries and we occupy Asian countries and we fucking occupy everybody.
What are we currently bombing right now? Out of the last, let's take the
It's our
Islamic
God
State.
given
let's take
duty
the
to
last
bomb those
casualties
people.
of the last, let's say, 100 bombings.
I don't know, the Islamic
How many,
State.
how many were Asian? How many were white? How many were European?
You really don't know how logic works, do you, KK?
Now, how many were? I'll just lump it all
Are you-
brown.
So
How many were Muslim? What percentage do you think of the bombing victims were Muslim?
probably the vast majority. Yeah,
Okay,
the vast
okay.
majority.
So you claim we're not.
How many
having
of
war
the
against
bombing
Muslims.
victims were hermaphrodites that KK would like to have intimate relations with?
Well, I mean, the difference is that those people
never-
are at, like war. Most of those people are at war with us, except for like the drone strikes. But I'm not
Oh,
putting
they're at
forth.
war with.
I've never put forth the
Who declared
like
war?
being an interventionist necessarily in anything besides war with the Islamic State. I'm not for bombing people just randomly in fucking any of these
I am.
countries.
Hey, I got as an accelerationist, I got nothing against bombing Muslim, especially as an atheist.
But it's not literally. It's not to
You think that-
destroy brown people. That
I
is
think-
such a misnomer.
I think there's what's that U word underlying? That ulterior. Yeah, well, I think there's ulterior motives here with the Christian right. The who's the one? What's the demographic that controls
What
it?
do you
but
mean
I think
wrong
it's
about
more
that? So
of a-
you're an idiot.
that's-
Go away.
What's
It-
what?
to the extent that that is true, to the extent that it's the fucking neo-Conans, right? It's more of a religion thing than it is, uh, and more of a good goy for Israel than it is like I hate brown people. It really is. They believe they have to support fucking Israel in order to go to heaven. They're against them. They're rightfully against the radical Muslims, but yeah, it has more to do with religion than it does race. Even for the Muslims are not motivated by race at all. They're more motivated on religion.
Yeah, but who cares what they think?
So then why are you proposing that they're afraid that they're trying to eradicate the white race, or this is one of the main talking points of your I'm usually not here.
Well, they're not going to kill all the Chechenians, but they will force you to fucking convert where they take over. Especially the Wahhabists.
Oh, okay.
Of course,
So
there's different factions within them.
How do they do that in a constitutional democracy that protects you from state and religion merging?
They destroy it
Okay. So what kind of majority do
or
you need
change the
for
law.
the Constitution?
About 30%
That would
gotta
never
of the
happen.
population.
Okay, you're safe.
You got to be fucking ridiculous. And how many of these Muslims are modernized? They're not extreme. What percentage of the Muslim population are not extremist?
You have to define extremists then.
Say it. Just say it. You know what I fucking mean.
You have to define. Do you mean Wahhabists? Do you mean
Mister, you have to define everything. Says, you know what I mean.
Hey, well, you know what's funny
it's
is,
different because I really.
hold on. What's funny is KK is you're literally trying to be like AIDS, stopping us from preventing cancer, right? You're attacking the immune system through language, and it's fucked up.
And you're gay.
you're a faggot?
I'm attacking the immune
In
system
denial.
through language. Yeah, I don't know what that means. I don't think.
Yeah, I know you don't. Like, it's convenient for you not to know what it means, so you don't know what it
Give
means.
me a break. This is what's called being.
I would give you a break if we're in the same room. Trust me on
certainly, like you're gonna now point out, oh, there's differences, but I even admit that there are differences, and that like Wahhabism is in the among the Muslims. Like
No,
I know that like Iranians are different than.
I can partition the group of Muslims into two groups that I'm more concerned about, right? Extremists, right, or people who want to eradicate, let's say, all other religions, and none, right? That's it.
Okay, and you don't see how importing large numbers of them, and you can't really tell the difference, and some of them will convert to Wahhabism, like you see from the more extreme stuff. They're willing to have an in-group where they'll protect other Muslims. They won't rat out other Muslims. They would still take, and it's actually the Wahhabists that are less of a threat directly right now than it is the moderate ones, because the moderate ones go there, they live their normal life. They'll fucking they'll more or less influence things more peacefully, which is more dangerous than the ones that fucking blow up Ariana Grande concerts, because at least they show their hand too early and their strategy sucks.
No, that's totally ridiculous. You're saying the modernized ones will. What are they arguing for now?
The ones that are not Wahhabists.
I don't know what that is. What's a Wahhabi?
Well, Wahhabists, they're like the autistes. They're like the U of Islam. Like they studied the fucking Quran down to a very violent. Well, they're like ISIS in Saudi Arabia. They're the most fucking extreme examples are from within there.
So they're extremists.
Yeah, like you and gayness. You're an extreme gay.
They're like autistic about it, right? Like they really fucking believe in it 100%, and they have a very strict interpretation of it. And the other ones have other different.
Are these Wahhabists?
Depends on where.
I mean, all of them.
Depends on where you're talking about.
You're talking about all of them.
They're a minority.
Don't play it down. How small of a minority?
I'm not I'm not sure. Like exact numbers, I'm not.
Can you just ballpark it, Maggot?
Can't you just look it up on Google and fucking go and do some research yourself instead of fucking wasting time?
I mean, I'm not gonna research his points that he doesn't know. If he doesn't know it, then he shouldn't be making a point.
Yeah, but if you don't know shit, so like you come in here and fucking like you don't know anything, and then you fucking complain when fucking someone brings up a point you don't know.
No logic.
That's because you're.
I mean, I see the effects.
Too
of
busy
them.
blowing goats to fucking do anything about it.
That doesn't make me gay.
Yeah, that pretty much is the definition of a faggot. What you're doing, KK.
And what's that? Can you entertain me? What's that definition?
Do you call him KK or do you call him Gay? That's his new name, Gay.
What is it you're doing? You're you go to counter signal by saying, "Oh yeah, I don't know that. Oh, I'm dumb. Oh," and that's your argument.
No, there's a difference between ignorant and dumb, right?
No, you're a faggot.
I choose not to inform myself about irrelevant. I mean,
well, yeah, but you don't do that because there's a difference between women and chicks with dicks.
Yeah,
you should inform yourself about the difference.
Yeah,
no, I'm aware. Of
don't inform yourself.
I'm aware of the difference.
Yeah,
but,
so you're
aware
a
that makes you a faggot.
Wait, I mean, what's gayer? Watching straight porn, or watching
you're a homo.
Married porn with a
chick? The answer is
to say you have to cut it off. What's? I mean, sometimes injecting poison is the same as not. I mean, come on. No, I think straight porn by definition is not gay.
But you're watching a naked dude, right?
You're a homo. Fuck off.
Aren't you? Aren't you? If you prefer that, I mean, versus watching a chick with a dick fucking another chick.
Why don't you go research this, like, you know, and try to get egalitarianism straight.
That's 25%
Make some
male.
kind of sense.
That porno's 25% male versus 50% male. How does that make?
You're a homo.
How does that make me more gay?
Look, just face up to it. You're a faggot.
You're a faggot.
Anyways, it doesn't matter, right? I mean, your point about
it doesn't matter. You're a faggot. No, you don't matter.
Scare about
you matter. You're a faggot.
Of the white race in danger, right? It's not a fucking race.
What?
Well, it's not a race, right? The success.
So if there's no race, there's no racism. Oh, good.
The
No
success
racism.
of a group isn't based on relative standing.
You're a fucking
If
idiot. Fuck
that were
off.
the case,
What?
if that were the case, then you believe in you know the.
It's not a race like a chick with a dick. It's not fucking like gay. Yeah, okay.
What?
Gotcha. You can believe whatever you fucking want to believe. It's like, it's your religion, man. Join KK's utilitarianism religion, ego-utilitarianism.
And the reason why you got to also take it into account.
And you will be taught that chicks without dicks is not gay. You will be taught that fucking, like, what is not a race.
So there's a bunch of gay, I mean...
And other gems.
I just don't want to be a minority in our country.
And also,
take
into account the fact that once they migrate to Western societies, that Western culture rubs off on them, and they become even more moderate, they become even more modernized.
That's not what we find, though. Most of like the suicide bombers and these other people are.
Oh, really? I was talking.
Really?
I was talking as a large group, right?
Okay, look at this, KK. Like, we've got a higher IQ than you.
That's
You're from a dumb country with a low IQ.
You can't
right?
even. You can't even
like
help.
our IQ hasn't rubbed off on you.
And I doubt you're even referencing statistics. I even think this applies to extremists. I doubt you're referencing any statistics. That Western culture rubs off.
And especially.
How can you stop it from not rubbing off on you?
I got a statistic: 100% of people who like choose statistics are gay.
Well, because they're gonna because as soon as you try to, other Muslims are gonna fucking criticize and attack you for it.
No, but
they're all gonna live.
These are the same Muslims that are also being modernized. They're
setting up Sharia. They're setting up environments where it's their culture. They're setting up little ghettos where it's only them. They basically run the fucking streets. The cops are fucking scared to go there.
Kids don't have access.
And they don't modernize.
Their kids don't have access to their internet. They don't mix culture at all. Otherwise, right?
It might mix culture, but it's not going to be in a fucking positive sense. It's not going to be
bullshit. Yeah, but they're going to become modernized. You won't be able to stop that. They're going to watch SpongeBob. Their kids are going to watch SpongeBob and all that shit. Their parents are going to watch
SpongeBob. Anyone who doesn't like SpongeBob is a fucking homo and deserves.
Yeah, they can do that over there.
That's fucking gay. I mean, that shows your taste, Iron Man. You fucking like Marvel comic books.
Why should we allow them to impose this?
Yeah, but I don't like chicks
with
with dicks.
Promise that they're going to get better later.
Well, that taste is not acquired. So.
Because you decided that's part of your ego-utilitarianism religion. Whatever you personally like, that's fucking
religion. Does religion
it's a religion.
Mathematics?
Ego-utilitarianism is a religion.
It's the farthest thing from it.
No, it's
People don't want to expel resources on them. We shouldn't have to fucking hope that one day they'll become moderate and then they'll be just like us, except for a little dumber. That's not a fucking.
Oh, really? Okay, so let's just. I mean, just to show evidence to my argument, you'd agree that if you look at the entire Muslim population, they are becoming more westernized.
No, because in the 50s they were far more westernized.
So you're a faggot. You're a faggot and you lose.
Okay. In what way?
They didn't enforce.
I mean, for example, I watch a lot of YouTube channels where a bunch of them are like Muslim ballers and gamers.
Yeah, well, they used to be.
And
at least in Iran, Iraq, and these other countries, they were kind of ruled by the Ba'athist party. They were nationalistic. They didn't focus that heavily on their religion. Like women weren't required to wear burqas and whatnot, and actually could get education. They were basically like Nazis. Like they were nationalistic. They like sided with fucking Hitler and stuff. We've been steadily. Leaders like that have been being knocked off. Assad is I believe he's like the last or one of the last ones that kind of come from that school of thought. So if you look overall at like Iran and a lot of the places in the Middle East, now I don't know about like Indonesia and stuff. I assume that they are becoming more westernized, but just of the Arab countries, yeah, I'd say that it depends on what time frame. They might be getting a little bit more westernized now. But overall, like if you take a bigger picture, they've definitely decreased in the westernization and become more religious, more radical.
That's bullshit. That's a bunch of bullshit.
Where's your evidence to prove that?
You can't stop religion from dying. Number one, just in general, any religion,
so I can't stop ego-utilitarianism from dying. Is that your argument?
The farthest thing from religion, right?
How many ego-utilitarians were there 10 years ago? Zero.
If uses math as the basis for reasoning, I doubt you can call that religion.
It's religion.
It's like abusing the word.
You're your own guru. It's your own little religion.
I mean, that's just as much as religion as liking chicks with dicks is faggotry.
Well, that's all part of your religion.
So you just proved it, basically.
Well, yeah. Either I proved
you basically said my philosophy is as much a religion
it's contingent,
as
isn't
is A.
It's contingent, isn't it?
Well, see, your like chicks with dicks is based on irrationality, and your argument to say that's not gay is based on irrationality. It's just not so.
That's emotion. By definition, it's irrational.
No, it's your faith. It's emotion.
My emotional attraction.
It's religion.
That's emotion. What does sexual attraction have anything to do with logic?
It's faith in your subjective opinion, which is a subset of objective, by the way, and like that. That's true that you're not a faggot, but you actually are a faggot. You just got faith in like heterosexuality that you don't have. It doesn't exist. So it's a religion.
Okay, so. So I'm bisexual then, because I'm very attracted to.
No, you're a faggot. You're not bisexual. You're a full-blown AIDS-infected homo.
I would accept the derogatory. I would accept the general definition of faggot to include just anything that likes dudes, right? But there's no
so you're a faggot.
There's no dude I've ever been attracted to. Well, I've been attracted to dudes. I mean, like no, remember that Asian commercial? They were dudes dressed as women. Shit, I didn't know. I wanted to do some of them. I mean, with a wig on. But... So how does that make me a faggot? I mean, no one's ever been tricked by a
So
trap.
you just said
Because
you said faggots
gay.
are attracted to dudes, and then you just said you found dudes attractive, and then
So people-
now you're
people
saying,
haven't-
how does that make me a faggot?
Traps are gay.
You're a faggot.
This has been sort of a debate that's raging in the alt right, but I heavily stand that traps are gay.
I wouldn't do a trap. Like seeing the male parts when they take off their clothes would disgust me. Right? But if it was like if it was like she had a feminine body like Jessica Alba, right? And I mean,
Yeah. Well, we
Tiny
disagree
top.
on a lot of things. We disagree on a lot of things, but we agree that traps are gay, and that makes you a faggot.
well, I mean, I think you can be attracted to traps. Now, I wouldn't smoke the cock of a trap.
Oh, you're so discriminating.
See that? You see the distinction between those two statements? I'd smoke the cock of Jessica Alba with a cock,
Yeah, because you're a faggot.
but I would not smoke the cock of a trap. Does that still make me fag? I really don't think it's as clear cut as you try to make it out to be, because that makes a lot of people who watch futanari porn faggots. I mean,
Yeah,
They
they're
are
faggots.
faggots, and you're one of them.
I'm not a.
They are faggots.
They're faggots. There's a ton of them. Do you call people who are attracted to traps without knowing they're traps faggots?
Yep,
Yeah.
they're faggots.
Okay. Yeah, that just
Like you.
the extent you're just willing to stretch the definition in order to just try to encompass me.
And you're going to stretch the
No, you're a
definition of like not being a faggot. So
You just
No,
admitted you're
it's-
attracted to
I
dudes. We
really
did not
think-
stretch at anything.
So,
I'm
so
attracted to
faggot's
dudes,
meant to be a
so
derogatory
that's what you're
term.
saying.
I really think once you make it that broad, once you make the definition that broad, just to
It's
encompass
not
me,
broad to say if
it
you're
uses
attracted to
all the-
dudes, you're a faggot.
it's derogatory. It's derogatory effectiveness, right? It ceases to be derogatory at that point. I don't even find it offensive when you call me a faggot because I like fucking. But if liking futanari porn, where a chick with a dick is fucking another chick is fag is.
I think that's a Freudian slip. You said a dick with a chick. Like you think.
I don't
you're
even.
trying to come on. You see, like it's not that like it's the chick with the dick that you like. It's that you're trying to like justify your heterosexuality by attaching the dick to a chick so that you can tell yourself that you're not gay, which is odd that you're. It's odd that you're like I'm not gay, yet you defend your philosophy constantly with an argument for pedophilia and bestiality.
No, I'm just proposing that it might be part of the cure to your reproduction rates. Number one, I think this war against pedophilia and what is it?
Hebophilia?
Hebophilia, all these stupid cultural wars against them are malfunctions. They're malfunctions of public education being forced to associate with only people your age is a malfunction.
You think that before we had public schools, people were cool with it?
Yeah, I think they were much more cool with it than
Oh yeah, they were cool with fucking 9-year-olds.
the advent of it. Yeah, I'm sure.
And that's proof that all faggots
sure.
are
No, really.
also fucking
You're
pedos.
kidding. You're kidding me, Alex. Are you saying it wasn't
Yeah.
before public education?
Yes. Before about 100 years ago. Yeah.
No. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me.
I'm serious. Yeah. No, people were not okay with fucking people having sex with 9-year-olds before public school.
I think they were. Well, not 9-year-olds, but like maybe taking a 13-year-old wife in Europe, especially. I'm pretty sure it was commonplace since people had shorter lifetimes.
How old?
13.
What's the lowest fucking age of consent, like in Europe now?
What are you talking about? Legally? I don't know.
Yeah.
Age of consent. What do you mean by age of consent? Current laws?
What do you think I mean? You know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Morally?
What the fuck do you think he means?
Morally? In ego-utilitarianism? There's none.
Legally.
There's no well-defined. There's no age of consent in morally. Legally, I don't know. It depends on the state, I guess. I don't know. I don't research these things either. I think 16 in some states, maybe. 18.
Well, I'm just telling
Age
you
of
that
consent is 14 in Germany.
There you go.
So, like, I'm
Pretty
just pointing out, you're
I'm pretty sure
in the
that
old days.
80% was
blah,
much
blah, blah.
lower, if not
It
not
also
In the
sort
good
of
old
points out,
days.
it also sort of points out, like, you're saying that that's the main cause, like that could be a
Public
large
school.
factor in our decreasing
I-
population. But
the
in
main
Germany, they're not having replacement rates either. So I, you know, I think you can't really. I don't think it's the main factor that we're not cool with it, that we're declining as a people. I don't.
That's 13 in China.
Yeah, but I'm just telling you that, like, if you actually restrict it to the proper definition of what you're talking about, it was not acceptable before public school.
It was not more acceptable before public school. Yeah, I'd like to see some evidence on that.
Okay, now you're saying more.
What's that?
I don't know how we'd quantify more.
There are statistical ways.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be interested in seeing that, but I don't.
know. Let's just
It
say
wasn't
that.
just acceptable. Like, it wasn't just, hey, everybody, I'm doing that. I don't.
I think it was much more acceptable. No, it's just my word versus yours, and
Yeah,
like,
I don't know how to
you're just
prove
being
that.
emotional. Well, you're being emotional.
No, I'm not being emotional,
Yeah, you're being emotional.
and that's not an argument.
Yeah, because you know for a fact that a lot of this culture comes from having to interact with like what happened in school when you like dated like an underclassman. By
I never did that.
1 year, it's kind of embarrassing. It's a little embarrassing unless she's really hot.
I mean, I didn't start any of that until I was like 19. So
And
I don't know.
Here's another theory. I think it came from like the older chicks in high school.
Sorry, it's 14 in China and 13 in Japan. I always get those two confused because they're both slanty-eyed fucks.
Yeah. I wonder how much it is in true Korea. I don't know. Probably too low because it seems like all you fucking Asians are like this.
Okay, so what statutory rapes were in England in the 1600s? Waiting.
Well,
Dude, I don't have the statistics from 1600 on this.
The statistics were shotgun weddings and fathers beating the crap out of people. That's the statistics for you. So, you know, just take the number of people, pick up some skeletons, see how many teeth are knocked out on 20-year-olds, and that were trying to get on with 12-year-olds and do the statistics, do some archaeology.
Yeah, first off, that's dubious. Number two, even if that is the case, it's there'd probably be less of that now without statutory rape laws. I mean, for one thing, you have to be able to beat up the guy, right? What if the guy?
Do you think this is the KK fetish podcast, personal fetish podcast? Is that what you think? Like that we're talking about your gayness?
Anytime I'm winning an argument, you got to shift it.
Pedophilia?
I think that's your
but
technique.
But back to your fertility argument, that's more evidence that it's not the main cause of our fucking decline in population, because there's countries like Germany where it's fucking 14, which is not technically pedophilia, but still it's low enough. It would be lower than the
then my
CDC
other argument is maybe
statistics.
their homogeneity. Their racial homogeneity is decreasing their reproduction rates.
It's not affecting the Africans that way.
Oh, isn't it? So you're saying the Africans in Germany have a higher reproductive rate than the Africans in the U.S. or Africa?
In Africa, they're having a population boom.
Wait, answer the fucking question. It's a yes or no question.
Whether they're producing more.
What's the reproductive rate for Africans in Germany? You claimed it, not me.
You were saying the reason why white fucking Germans are producing less children is because they're homogeneous?
You're shifting. I asked the question.
No, I'm not.
I asked a question. Are
You're
the
asking me if there's a
reproductive?
difference in the African birth
You made a
rate,
claim.
and you
You
had
made a
pointed
claim.
out.
You made a claim.
What claim did I fucking
You
make?
made a claim that
KK?
homogeneity in Germany didn't affect black reproduction rate.
Well, you made a claim. You made a claim that
Not to show evidence of this.
it's not gay, right? So, like, back that
You
up.
made the claim that it did. I was asking you why.
Well, in the case where
and I gave a counterclaim.
the only case where I found the dick attractive is when it's on Jessica Alba. That pretty much makes it not gay.
No, it doesn't. It's gay.
Okay.
And look, there's kids working in coal mines when they were like 8 and stuff, like, throughout history, right? So, like,
Also,
you're an adult when you start working.
So child
like,
labor wasn't as looked down upon back before.
Yeah, that's because they weren't, like, you weren't a child until you're like 27 and on your parents' freaking
So
Obamacare.
you could say you could definitely say that child prostitution there's more child prostitutes than they were.
No, it's just harder to enforce a lot of this stuff. Like, it was a little more Wild West, right?
Exactly.
But it wasn't considered acceptable. It wasn't considered fucking okay.
Oh, really? Where are you getting your information from? Or are you just stating that just because it sounds good with the case you're trying to make?
Oh, are you?
Well, where did
provide
these
me
laws come
evidence
from
where it was
now?
culturally-
It's
you
really
have
not the
evidence
case that
it was
it
culturally
was
acceptable?
it was looked down upon. I'm saying, was it more looked down upon then relative to now?
Was it morally looked down upon to marry more than one woman in Christian society? Where did that come from? Did that come from history, or did you invent that
As
now?
far as I know, that's in the source documents for Bible. I don't know. I think that's in the source documents of the Bible with adultery. Or I don't know. I don't know what it says. I don't care about
At
that.
some point in history, Christians decided that was a bad thing.
I'm talking about a 30-year-old marrying a 13-year-old. Just what? Hold on. I'm gonna do some research. I'll be back. I'll just do some research because
That would be a good idea.
Yeah,
obviously,
please don't.
you're
Please
making
don't
the
come
wise
back.
decision not to research because you know you're gonna find evidence to support my case rather than yours.
No, you're gonna find that like teen marriages were more common, which is not.
No, but it all depends what
Emma,
society
wait.
you're talking
He just conceded something.
about. Go do some research.
So
No,
teen
I'm
marriage-
not conceding anything because it's literally what I've said the entire time. I've said the amount of hebophilia was more accepted, the amount of pedophilia was not, and I used the example of a 9-year-old. The entire
I don't know
time
what
I was
conceding
consistent
something
on
looks
that.
like, right? Conceding something would be like you saying, I am a faggot because I like chicks with dicks, right? That's what conceding looks like. Everyone knows what it looks like.
I concede something when when I have at least a preponderance of the evidence.
But yeah, you would have to prove that like birth rates are going to go down if societies are homogeneous.
You
And I
just
don't
said
think
you
that's
already
true.
conceded that. You can
No,
well.
I
Way
didn't.
beyond a preponderance of evidence. So we're like,
No, I didn't.
not
You made
reasonable
that
doubt that you're a
claim.
faggot. KK.
You made
here's-
that claim, and then I brought up the counterclaim of Africans. And I'll have to see. I don't know how I would find out if Africans in Germany produce more kids than their brethren at home, but
That's pretty. I think that's.
what would I look at? How do I look up the birth rate of fucking Africans in Germany? I'll try to find that.
I mean,
but-
it's a pretty easy argument since they make up relatively a low percentage of the population. They have less selection, right? Assuming that it's a natural case not to breed outside of your race, just that there's sort of a bias toward that. So I would think they have less choices. They would reproduce less. You'd agree with that, right? Don't be a
no,
little bitch. Yeah, you'd be a
no, I
little.
wouldn't.
That's all I need, right? You don't even have anything close to that mechanical argument.
Do you think you're actually winning this argument, KK?
I think objectively I am.
I'm
Yeah,
just
I think
saying
you're
that,
deluded.
like, you look at fucking other countries, like, you can, when America was more fucking homogeneous, we had, like, the baby boom after World War II, where we produced a whole bunch of fucking
Oh my god!
kids, right? I don't think that was the main, like, I don't think just being around your
You were
own
more
means you're going to
homogeneous-
produce
You were
less.
more homogeneous during the baby boom. Are you serious?
Yeah.
That was already after slavery, you know.
Do you think that the white population has increased, like, as a percentage of population in the United States? since
You mean
1950.
has the percentage of white people increased?
Hold on a second.
Has the population has increased? I'm assuming too. The white population has increased. That number.
Has the amount of faggotry on this podcast increased since KK came in?
Yes.
I think it decreased. It has decreased.
Well, I mean, the total
Tenfold.
fucking population might have, but it's
IQ
There-
increased. Faggotry decreased.
let's see if I can find it.
You gotta be kidding me. So there's more hebephilia, and somehow that's totally independent from pedophilia, right?
Yeah, well, it's because it's like social norms, right? So back then it was like, okay, at 15.
Wait, faggot,
right?
faggot. You conceded though hebephilia was less
Yes.
looked on back in those days, and you're
Yes.
saying that has nothing to do with that has no effect on pedophilia. If given the fact that we know that hebephilia is more accepted, that's totally independent from if they accept pedophilia.
Yes.
Okay, you gotta be kidding me. Because age is just a degree. So if they're more comfortable at 13-year-old than they are now, there's no reason why there's a difference for 12-year-olds or 11-year-olds.
Except for there is.
No, just
Yeah,
I mean
because
it's not
those
one
things
to
are
one.
different.
It's not a 1-to-1. It's not gonna be
Because those things are different.
no.
In societies
no.
where you're going to die of cholera at 15, you probably want to, reproduce a
Look,
little earlier
faggot,
than
you gotta
average.
understand the difference between different and independent, right? You understand? Do you understand the point I just made? You gotta understand the difference between different and independent. And I made the claim that they weren't. You're stupid for trying to make the claim that they're independent. The fact that they're more accepting of hebephilia makes them more necessarily. There should be a positive correlation between their acceptance for pedophilia.
Why?
I just because obviously their age demographic has shifted to at least incorporate hebephilia, and if some people think that even nowadays that you can see the shift, and so if the shift happened to encompass hebephilia, and today hebephilia is sort of accepted, that sort of acceptance area of the shift must also have shifted to pedophilia.
You're a
And
homo.
for you to
I don't
deny
believe
that,
so.
it just shows how intellectually dishonest you are. You're just reaching for anything just to try to win the argument.
Yeah, you're intellectually dishonest because you're so slippery with
You
your
gotta be
arguments, and then
kidding.
you ask for definitions, and then you like don't know things when it's convenient. You're
No,
so
no,
terrible,
no,
Alex.
when they're pivotal, when they're critical definitions that we're pivoting upon, I think
You're a
I'm
homo.
willing to define things. I'm always willing to define things. Unlike the rest of your shifty ass fucking group.
Look, you're intellectually dishonest because you can't even work out that liking chicks with dicks makes you a faggot, right? You won't admit it. You won't be intellectually honest and say, yes, I am a faggot.
Faggot is not derogatory.
You lose.
You're a faggot.
I don't. You're using faggot in a non-derogatory way, right? Then I'm a faggot.
Yeah. And you're a faggot?
I'm a faggot, but non-derogatory faggot, right? It doesn't hurt. So I'm a
You're
faggot.
both.
Okay. So what does that say?
You're both a
Attracted to
faggot
guys?
and a
I don't think so. I
faggot.
don't think
How is
that
being a
statement-
faggot like
that
a
statement is not
non-derogatory
derogatory
faggot?
That's because the statement of derogatory is like being a faggot. It's kind of like I don't know, like being attracted to like masculine.
So it's like being a non-derogatory pedophile or a non-derogatory fucking mass murderer or something. Like, you're the good kind.
When you redefine mass murder as someone who fights in self-defense, becomes non-derogatory.
By redefining something into
so
something
define
else.
murder.
Definition. What's that?
Define murder.
I just did, faggot.
No, you didn't.
Killing just for the sake of self-defense.
So people who
That's self-defense.
people who kill people in self-defense are murderers.
My point is when you redefine things,
No, your point is you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You don't know how to use
Because
logic.
you're saying-
there's a derogatory term for faggots, which is a homosexual, right? I don't think I classify as a homosexual. You can
You like
bring
chicks
it
with
to a
dicks.
I
That's
think
why you're a
psychology
faggot.
degree, right?
You're attracted to men.
You get a lowly woman's psychologist doctor, right? And she'll agree I'm not a faggot. which is a homosexual. The derogatory.
Well, you go and do that and get a piece of paper that says KK is not a faggot from a fucking psychologist. I'd love to see that.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because the psychologist is going to say
use
you're a
use
homosexual.
the same standard of evidence and get one that says that I am. And guess what? I'll put money on it.
I'd put money on the fact you're a fucking faggot.
Let's say the loser has
You're
to
a
pay.
faggot.
Let's say the loser has to pay for the.
I'd put money on the fact
the
that you can get
testimony
down to a
on top
psychologist's
of
office without
$1,000,
fucking
right?
sucking on
Put
a
your money
dick.
where your mouth is, Iron Man. Put your money where your mouth is.
No, I'd bet a bazillion dollars. You can walk out of the house and get fucking anywhere without fucking sucking fucking 5 dicks on the way.
I never wanted to suck a dick, right? Ever. Because it doesn't exist. There's no dick that exists that's on Jessica Alba or Phoebe Cates in the 80s. Show me one that
just in your fantasy, just in your fantasies, your mind, you think about all the time.
So have you guys?
Sucking a
you
dick
guys?
of another dude, or on a chick, or on just on a fictional character? What if I wanted to suck the dick of a horse? Does that make me a faggot?
Yes.
Yes.
Does that make me a faggot? Really?
Yes, it does. And a horse fucker.
You fucking faggot.
I told you this guy blows goats. I can spot a goat, fucking people who go blow goats. I can spot them a fucking mile away. They're just fucking the way they talk, you know. Like
He just like digs his
method of
hole deeper.
speech that's like, you know, good for sucking dick, I guess.
There's something different than being a limp-wristed, you know, lisp-having, attracted to hairy dudes with broad shoulders. I think it's more fitting.
Okay,
like
you just try to use.
Yeah,
What if
I
I sucked a horse's dick? You just use that as an argument against the idea that you're not a faggot.
You're omitting.
You just try to use that and
You're
fails.
omitting the conditions. Right? You're omitting the conditions on where I'd suck that horse dick.
Just the emotion you put into saying that just is scary. Like for a start. But like, you know, you just tried to argue against the idea that you're a faggot by saying, if I blew a horse, would I be a faggot?
Some evidence for a more accepting pedophilia.
This is where you're just like,
look at my avatar. Look at my avatar.
I think your culture
look at my avatar.
Your Californian culture is what
your avatar
is rubbing off on you. You're like, well, if I just redefine things, if I just shift this around here, if I just redefine this here,
I'm using the derogatory term, the derogatory definition of faggot. I'm not redefining it.
You said
your avatar was gay.
You cannot classify me as being attracted to my own sex. Because you cannot classify Jessica Alba with a dick and a vagina and tits fucking in a chick as being a dude.
Hey, fuck you.
You said her with a dick
I think that's
is better than just without a dick.
All right, we can drop the KK being a faggot thing. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what the fuck are we even talking about anymore? Fuck you.
You can stay with us, KK, but we're going to talk about other things now.
He just wants to make this all about him and his sex life and like me. Fucking,
yeah, but I mean, we did it now. Like he admitted that he's a faggot, so I mean, we're good. We got to the bottom of that. That's one problem solved.
Still gotta address the fact that pedophilia was probably more accepted the further you go back.
Yeah, we'll do that next time.
Did the Romans did Roman emperors fuck like kids?
Yeah, we'll talk about this next time.
Did they or did they not?
Okay, so Johnny Depp, after you guys remember how Johnny Depp basically made a joke about, I'm going to kill the president. Like when was the last time an actor killed the president? Well, this fucking douchebag now tried to fly to Iron Man's home country. And
this is some time ago.
Douchebaggery occurred. Oh,
yeah. This is probably, I don't know, a year ago almost. But yeah, tried to get in the country with a fucking toy dog on his private jet, and got pulled up by customs, and they told him to go fuck himself, even though he's an actor. Yeah, and he did a half-assed apology on TV and whined like a little bitch, and blamed it on some aid or something like that, and then turns out they're saying he may face perjury charges for lying about the fact he didn't know about the dog.
Yeah,
supposedly.
I have it right here. I have more specifics here in my notes, just found. So yeah, it was in May 2015. It was him and his wife. It was a private jet, and he was trying to bring his little fucking yappy purebred dogs. But yeah, he's his exact claim that he was making was that like his staff, they had the necessary paperwork, that it was all okay because he fucking thinks that he's this elite, that he can get away with it because I'm an important fucking actor. And that's sort of the attitude that all these fellers have.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's actually going to be back here this way or fucking they're actually going to do this, but it's still funny.
Yeah, it's funny when they get a reality check because they do. It's strange how they operate and how they interact with each other. They really is this like they look down on everyone. It's the flyover country. It's sort of the they go from city to city. They've been in the cities around the whole world, and there is this weird like culture that a lot of major cities have where everywhere else is complete shit and looked down upon, and they're the fucking the true humanitarians and the true good people of the world, and everyone else is just shit and heartless, and everyone who's not with their culture should just be looked down upon, and kind of elitism.
Yeah, and I mean, when you look at the apology video he did, you see what a fucking, the same douchebag fucking attitude. Like, back then, it's kind of like, oh, maybe this is some misunderstanding or something. But when you see his fucking douchebag attitude, like, with this Trump thing and everything, it's kind of like, it's the same, So it's quite interesting to go look back on that. And I mean, plus, like all this humanitarian leftist protect the environment shit. Well, one of the good things about living on a fucking island is you're insulated from diseases and shit like that. So we're a little more serious over here about importing fucking like, invasive species and all this kind of shit. They're going to fuck up agriculture or the fucking, the nature or whatever the fuck. And he doesn't give a shit. He just brings his fucking mongrel fucking dog. Thinks, it's okay because I'm a fucking actor and like, fuck them, right? And it's kind of like, maybe he didn't run into this shit in some other countries, but here it's a bigger fucking deal. Doesn't give a fuck. Doesn't give a fuck about the environment or fucking any of that other shit, right?
None of them do. It's this weird, it's this weird elitist, I guess, urban kind of culture, especially among the wealthy. It's this, we care about everyone. We care about everyone. We're better than everyone. But then you actually find out that they're fucking. A lot of times they're not good people. Not that all of them are bad, but it's just it's horse shit. And all of their policies, it's always funny to me that all of their solutions is always the government, because part of their culture is sort of this belief that permeates American culture, at least, which is government regulations are what made everything okay, and that everyone was just greedy capitalists until the government stepped in and stopped them, and these brave forward-thinking people enact these regulations that fix everything and end child labor and make sure that the water and the food is safe, and it's just this long march to progress, And you
can go back to CNN with this, right? Like fucking Van Jones and all these guys that are like fucking, this is a nothing burger and all this shit. They would fucking, I mean, I don't think you're actually going to have World War III with Russia, but they would fucking first they'd fucking just talk shit about fucking Russians, right? Like fucking, like then fucking don't give a fuck about them, right? Just fucking talk, make them out to be the fucking bad guys, and fucking like since when did they fucking have a problem with Russia? The fucking left, and then they're spewing all this bullshit. They don't care like what the effect is, like what happens to the fucking little people. They're just fucking talking crap, like where the fucking congressman gets shot because they're fucking spinning some fucking end of the world scenario with Trump, No, they don't care. And they're like, oh, they're caring people on the left, Fuck that.
Yeah, they're, and it's sort of this outward appearance, and then their little cliques, But yeah, it's always pushing for some government intervention, some elitist solution to save us poor plebs that just don't do anything right. They have this knowledge because they're wealthy actors, and at least for other people, for other people, I kind of understand a little bit more why they come to this conclusion. Like, if you're a fucking billionaire because you've set up a multi-billion-dollar fucking Microsoft corporation or something, I get how you would think, like, oh, I'm a smart guy, I can affect change. Maybe I know how to do things. But when you're a fucking actor, not that acting is a dumb profession or doesn't take skill and talent, but the fact that then I'm going to save the world, I'm going to stop, global warming and shit, but they never actually make the sacrifice or even put forward money to try to solve solutions other than to support fucking leftism or support, the government getting involved, because they certainly don't want to pay for it. They don't want to go try to start a company or a nonprofit that'll actually, try to think about what's a technological solution to global warming or any of that. It's always just get money from other people or have the state do it. The state will solve it like it solved all the other issues. And a lot of times they'll shield themselves from the effects of the policies that they support. They're not going to have fucking third worlders moving into their neighborhoods. They're not going to have, they're not going to have to go to a school that's now full of fucking low IQ people. They're not going to have to send their kids to go hang out with people who are potentially dangerous. They're not going to have to fucking cut back and have a smaller house or have to deal with almost any of the policies they endorse, or they can afford it, so it's not even a consideration for them. And then they have the audacity to tell you that they are the brave, the brave humanitarians. They are the elite that is going to come in and save everybody. That they are, the best. Morally.
# build the solar wall. Actually, related story. So, this is an article by Andrew Bolt. He's like a right-wing columnist over here, and he's got a thing, shooting the messenger on Aboriginal child abuse. So, so the Royal Commission got stuck into a Northern Territory. That's where all the Abos are. That's the territory, state, non-state, where most of the Abos are. So the Child Protection Minister
Commission is like the equivalent of like the CIA or the Supreme Court, or
it'd be like like an inquiry,
FBI,
like
okay.
Sort of like the congressional sort of inquiries that they do.
Okay, like a district court.
It's just a high level, yeah. So
a high level court.
So the Northern Territory Child Protection Minister was warning about genital mutilation of Aboriginal boys and forced marriages of Aboriginal children, because they have big problems with sexual abuse and of children in their culture and stuff like that, like higher levels of drug abuse and all this kind of shit, domestic violence. That
could
kind
be
of stuff.
expected from people with lower IQs.
Well, so you'd sort of think, okay, and this is like well known, right? Like this is sort of like this ongoing problem. And so this guy's raising these issues, right? And they just savage the guy for literally shooting the messenger. Like, oh, where's your proof of this and fucking shit like that? And it's kind of like, well, hang on. At the same time, you got the Catholic Church being abused for not being taken to task for not for trying to cover up child abuse or sex scandals and child sex scandals and all this kind of stuff, right? Like these fucking pedo priests. And it's like, okay, you got some accusations, you go and investigate them, right? You fucking, you look into it, and they're just saying, oh no, that's racist, this is going to demonize the Aboriginal people. So, we fucking can't do that. And it's like, well, hang on, you're demonizing this fucking guy, like, for telling you this shit, when everyone fucking knows this shit's true. Like, knows it's an ongoing problem. Like, and there's another thing that happened here recently, in relation to the abos. So at this school, like there's this myth law of like the stolen generation. So like apparently when whites came to Australia, they took Aboriginal kids off their parents. And this generation of kids was stolen from their parents and put into white families, right?
Why would they do that?
Oh, just because whites are evil. White people are evil, and we're trying to outbreed them out of existence, or so I don't know. Like, doesn't even make sense to me.
Why the fuck would you take people's kids off of them
and raise their kids? Yeah, right. So
that sounds kind of cucky, to be honest.
Yeah, well, this country's only 200 years old, right? So I mean, there's written records from the time and all this kind of shit, and it's like, and when you dig into it, it's kind of like, well, there's just cases of child abuse and shit where kids were removed from their parents, and like white kids were being removed from their parents, like at that same time, right? So like, but the abos want to beat fucking people over the head with this. Oh, you like our stolen generation, my 6 gorillion, right? It's the same old fucking shit, and so like there's a recent incident in a school where the fucking headmaster decides it's going to be a good idea to go into a classroom. So all the kids that he's got a letter from the government that you know we're going to their parents have been accused of abusing them and like found to be abusing them, so they're not going to see their parents anymore. They're going to take these kids to you know, like they're going to be taken care of by the government now, right? And let them believe that for, you know, a couple of hours. I think it was up to 5 hours on some occasions. These kids are freaking, right? Crying and freaking out. And then come back and go, ha ha ha, we just wanted to show you how the stolen generation felt.
That is...
Yeah.
Jeez.
Fucked up, right? Yeah. So apparently this has been going on for... It's happened before, but... You know, sort of never made the news somehow. Fake news. Hashtag fake news. So, like, so people are like, this is seriously fucked up shit, right? And, you know, when you dig into this, like Andrew Bolt, according to his column, he's saying, give me 10 names of people who are stolen, right? Because, like I say, there's records from that time. So, like, you know, there should have been, like, if it's where's the 6 Korean names, basically saying, right? Like, and there's, like one case or something that's a bit dubious or something, you know, but there's like not, you can't even find 10 that are like explicitly like we've taken this person's kid off of them because they're a fucking abo, you know, this kind of stuff. So pretty interesting thing to look into, but that's the big fucking story. You know? If you're subscribed to Rebel Media, you'll probably get some Australian news now. Like there's a couple of correspondents from here and talk about all this shit.
Well, another story that was in my list that took place in Australia was them arresting the most senior, basically Australia's most senior official in the Catholic Church was arrested. Cardinal George Pell, 76. He was the main financial advisor to the Pope, and yeah, he was arrested July 18th for historical sexual offenses, which I was trying to figure out what that meant in Australia, so I assume it happened in the past, and yeah, it's connected to the Catholic
It's the same old story, like, you know, like adults saying like when they were kids they were abused and it was covered up and stuff like that. I haven't been following that. I know Andrew Bolt has, and he's sort of says there's not as much substance to the claims as it may appear, but maybe something's come out recently that's, you know, changed that. I don't know.
Yeah, it didn't seem like there was that much. There wasn't that much specifics I could find online on any of the articles. I just have what happened. It's very troubling to see how. Well, there's two things with it, right? So first of all, it's troubling that it's such a problem in the Catholic Church and in, well, I guess monks and stuff have it too, but it's troubling that it's occurring so much in the Catholic Church. But then it's kind of troubling that it's so beat over by everybody's head and kind of almost blown out of proportion, and like it doesn't occur with other people, right? So it's kind of become
just to
a
be clear,
stereotype of Catholics.
it's not the number of incidents that are necessarily like, you know, if there was, you know, it's probably like more priests are like fucking boys and like kids getting grabbed off the street or something, you know, probably, but it's probably not even that's going to be a big deal necessarily as the church's response to it, that they would move these priests around and pretend they don't fucking exist and put other people in danger, you know, not properly investigate shit to cover up. Yeah.
If you create a safe haven for it, you would expect then that more people will join that have it. It's just, it is disturbing. Like I said, that they cover it up, that they sort of go about shifting it around. There was an episode of the Maxian Position where he went into this in some detail. It's just troubling, and it kind of makes it does make you worry that there aren't, like Anthony Weiner and a lot of stuff. It just seems like there is a lot of wealthy people or powerful people in these big bureaucracies that are into this stuff, and it's kind of you know, understandably troubling that it is so accepted and okay in, you know, big power structures.
Well, every organization is going to want to protect their own ass, like when something like this comes out. So, like, say an employee of a high-level employee of McDonald's or something was molesting, like they got young kids working there, like was molesting them or some manager or something like that. The company's going to be thinking, how do we protect ourselves from the fallout? Because we don't want this bad reputation that this motherfucker's given us, and they might
if word of this gets out, we're McFucked.
Yeah. And you can see why they want to protect themselves, but they shouldn't be doing that. Like, that's kind of the thing. So the church is doing the same thing, and that's really the problem. Like, they should be fucked. Like, especially a church that, you know, stands for morals and all this sort of stuff, supposedly, should be nailing these fuckers to the wall, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I wish there was, you know, a Catholic that could jump in and talk about it, their view. But yeah,
perhaps one that was reactionary.
But yeah, they look after each other. It's just, it's scary. I would understand why people in politics and stuff might be more likely to have this kind of thing, because they might like the power, or like the Catholic Church, right? It's like the safe haven for these guys, because they're going to kind of, maybe they feel guilty about it or something, and they think, oh, I'll be celibate, but now they're surrounded by kids, or they did it so that they could be surrounded by kids and stuff. It's just troubling, and it's something that you got to think about, and I don't really have a solution other than continue to put pressure on them, obviously, continue to do police work, and make sure that if you're ever in that situation, you don't cover them up. You don't fucking allow it to continue.
Well, see, that's the thing too. Why do victims speak out when they're like 40 or something, right?
Yeah.
It's because they don't want to say, oh, I got fucked up by the ass by some fucking big pedo, right? Like, I mean, that's why they cover it up, I'm presuming, right? I don't fucking know, some psychological thing, but, and they allow fucking other people to get victimized, right? Because that fucker is in jail. So I was like, everyone's looking out for their own interests, and it results in this fucking effect, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So the solution is to recognize that you've got this fucking responsibility. You've got this fiduciary fucking responsibility to fucking expose this shit, take the hit as a company or a religious organization. I mean, good example.
Would they even really take the hit? Because, like, if the Catholic Church had said, right, like they had uncovered.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Yeah, like they had uncovered all this, and they came forward without anything and said, "Look, we found these guys. They're within our ranks. We went up to the Pope. We went, holy shit, this is not. You know, if you had kids in this particular area or whatever, they might have been victimized. Like, we took action against this. Is not acceptable in our religion. You know, God wouldn't want this. Like, you would think that they, because a perfect example of this is like Subway, right, with Jared Fogle. They immediately like, nope, this is not acceptable.
Yeah.
We drop this guy. We condemn. You know.
Yeah, shares might take a hit. Fucking, you know, people might not get Subway for a while, but no, it's pretty well forgotten now. People just eat the shit, right?
Well, it's always on the
but
back
would-
of my mind when I go and order a 6-inch.
But would you want? I mean, to me, it almost seems like yeah, it's kind of just a miscalculation. I feel like they want to protect the reputation, but they risk this risky strategy of covering it up.
I don't think it's just that, right? So, like, because you sort of think, are these guys like all a bunch of fucking pedos, like this institutionalized problem, and they're fucking letting this shit go on, and they're covering up one guy like the other guy so they cover their ass, right? I think it, like, if you let it happen once, then the pedophiles are going to be attracted to that kind of fucking thing, right? Because they go, oh, I'll be protected when I'm here, right? So, whereas if they were getting busted all the time, you wouldn't want to fucking join, right? So it could be like some person who's not a fucking pedo, and they sweep it under the rug once, and then it just snowballs, you know? A good example of this is the Jehovah's Witnesses, right? Their claim to fame is, like, when they come to the door, one of their big selling points is they go, we're not Catholics, you know? And they kind of bash the Catholics and say, look, they worship idols, and they do it, like, look at all these not Catholic things that we do that are biblical, and look at all the Catholic shit, like I mean, it's kind of like Lutheranism, right? When the church had a problem with, you know, paying money to absolve your sins and shit like that, and Martin Luther had a problem with that. And people are saying, yeah, he's right. These guys are fucking cunts, right? So, so when they had their own sex scandal, which is called Silent Lambs, if you look that up, and because they used to say, look, we don't have all the shit that's going on like the Catholics do, like with abuse of children and shit, right? By priests. That used to be one of their selling points. So when that shit came out, that was something they really wanted to sweep under the rug, because they're staking their whole fucking reputation on that kind of shit, right? And they find out their people are fucking doing it too. And so that got swept under the rug. I mean, and they got all these weird beliefs about forgiveness and shit. So they would say, they would call a person onto the mat and say, you are a bad fucking person, God doesn't like you. And they handle it internally because, you know, don't consider themselves subject to the external laws in the same way, right? So, we handled it, right? So they delude themselves that, we took care of it internally, like with God's law, instead of fucking going to the police. So it'd be like, you know, if you were on Kokesh's little fucking freedom ranch or whatever the fuck he's got, and anarchists decide they're going to handle something like that. It'd be just as fucked up, right? Oh, we're gonna work this out with contracts, you know. And it's like, no, just call the police, dude. You know, this is fucked. You know, kick this fucker out. You know, they just got that ideology that they can handle it, and they can't.
Yeah. I mean, it's certainly it makes sense, right? That they would sweep it under the rug, and then there's more and then they got blackmail on that. It's just, what's crazy to think about is how far does that cycle go? You know, how far does that? And you would expect.
Well, it probably gets to the point where the whole place is an institution for pedos.
Yeah.
You know, effectively.
And it's that would be astonishing, because you would assume, you know, if that's the case, then they're not going to let in anybody who's going to do anything to overturn it. So you won't have this like reformer that would come in and go, holy shit, look at, at least not on the high levels. And how do you prevent that from occurring in any large bureaucracy? Like, how do you prevent any large power structure from ending up with some just corruption? And this is astonishing, because like, you expect normal corruption, but you don't really expect like this. And I think with politics as well, like, people at the top, we're starting to catch on.
This goes back to what I was saying about justice, right? Like, how could you handle that? Well, I mean, one way, if you're a kid, if you get a camera, like a fucking mini fucking camera these days, and record yourself getting molested, right? If it's happening repeatedly, why the fuck doesn't that happen these days, right? That kids just do that. Another one thing is, if you were a priest and you suspected this shit was going on, you could get a fucking camera or set someone up, right? And start busting fucking pedos, like doing the fucking James O'Keefe of the Catholic Church, right? Maybe that's why this is coming out now. Maybe that is happening or something, But it's probably just the same old accusations when people are older. Why don't some of these older people just go and kill these people, right? Okay, like, because it's the thing about justice, right? Say you were raped as a kid, you're the only person who knows that happened. Otherwise, it's just an accusation to everyone else, right? So if you said, I can't let this pedophile live because he's got kids now, he's going to abuse them, or I know he's abusing other kids, or, I know he fucking deserves to die for fucking molesting me, and you went and fucking killed him and buried the fucking body and fucking didn't make a big song and dance about it, right? That would be actual justice on some cosmic level, right? The justice system can't give that to you the same way, like as easy. And only you can, because you're the only one who fucking knows for sure. Everyone else has got to go off the innocent until proven guilty standard, beyond a reasonable doubt and all that shit. You're beyond a reasonable doubt. You fucking know for a fact.
Yeah, it occurred to you.
That's why if the kid was getting raped and the kid fucking found a gun on the floor in the process of getting raped or whatever, pulled out the gun and shot the fucking guy, he's justified in doing so, right? Because he knew he was fucking getting attacked at the time, right? So that's why you should handle all these situations in situ as much as possible, because you can have actual justice, right? And fucking these people need to fucking people need to handle their own shit more, and instead of just going, I'll call the cops. Burglar comes around your house, you don't have a gun, so you call the cops, and then you got this big fucking problem, right? If you shoot the guy, and fucking he's dressed in a fucking ski mask, lying on your fucking inside your living room, and you said, "Look, I shot the guy because he's robbing me." Not so much of a problem. Still a problem, not much of a problem.
Yeah. The only solution that I can really think to how you prevent this power structure is, like you said, like journalism, people taking actions into their own hand and taking their own responsibility for things and their own responsibility for justice. I guess you could design power structures so that you never have this sort of only the people within the power structure decide who joins them, because you will have that kind of a tendency towards, it starts off, oh, one guy did it, well, we don't want to look bad, we'll sweep it under the rug. But now that dude tells the other guy, hey man, you should join this fucking group, they don't arrest us or whatever. And now they've got blackmail on everybody who's not engaging in it. And how do you prevent elites from getting blackmail on each other? I mean, I think you see this play out with Trump. I think a lot of the reason why he's successful when he, insults some of these people is he probably got some blackmail on people, or information on people in the higher ups in New York. He knows fucking
about their facelifts.
well, their facelifts or some crime that they've committed or the kind of corruption that they expect. He was in that elite. I'm sure he has, done some business stuff that was probably pretty corrupt. I just don't know how to solve it other than what I laid out. I don't think that there's
but I'm saying individuals can address it. Same way James O'Keefe addressed it. Because you know for sure, so you can have actual justice. And suppose, for example, people are sort of afraid of the law and like getting the slap on the wrist for doing some of this shit, right? So suppose the burglar comes into my house, I shoot the fucking guy, and I fucking dispose of the body some way, right?
Yes.
But I've got film of him coming in and me shooting him and all this kind of stuff. I've got total proof that fucking happened. Well, I could go to the cops or I could dispose of the body, and then if they ever come looking for him, and why would they? Because did he announce that he was coming around to my house to anyone? Did he tell anyone? Then I pull out the thing and say, oh, shit, I didn't want the legal hassle. Yes, that was against the law. Sorry. I was doing what it was just, but I didn't do what was legal, right? Yeah, I should have fucking reported this. But, you can't really get me for murder. Right, so you're going to slap me on the wrist for not reporting a crime or some shit like that, right?
Yeah.
Probably worth the risk, if the legal system's really fucked up, and I'm not saying it is right now, but, you know, if you get some ridiculous fucking laws that are totally fucking unjust, then you should be doing that kind of, you should be thinking in that direction, doing that kind of thing. You're in Nazi Germany, you can't get a fucking fair trial in front of a fucking Nazi court when it's you against a fucking SS officer. You kill the fucking guy. And then if you get fucking caught, then you try to argue it, but, you know, yeah. I mean, it's, that's how a free man should think. That's the difference, and not just go vigilante and fucking go around. I know, fucking the pimp on the corner beats his hookers or something. Like, even though I've never personally seen it, like just everyone knows. I'll just go and kill him, right? Like, well, you probably want a bit more than that. It's like Dexter fucking sort of shit, you know, where you're totally convinced the fucking guy did it or you're personally involved. You know.
Yeah.
You don't have to go full vigilante either. That's what I'm saying.
I used to be far more cynical of the legal system. You know, just it's total shit. You know, it'll never result in justice for the most part. But I think this, you know, the resistance and the takeover of that federal building, and then having, you know, the charge of conspiracy dropped on those folks and stuff. You know, they sort of proved me wrong at the time that I was, you know, a cynical anarchist or whatever, cynical libertarian or whatever. They proved me wrong. They said, "Oh, we'll get our day in court and we'll prove it," and they've been fairly successful with it. They're still going after a, you know, an FBI agent that they believe lied, and they're going to be, you know, going after him. He's going to have to answer in court, you know, for why he shot him and why he lied. And so, yeah.
Can you explain that to me? I sort of didn't get all the details on that. Like,
hold on, let me get my notes up. Okay, so yeah, they indicted an FBI agent of lying to hide that he fired 2 shots at Lavoie. And so he essentially said, I didn't shoot. Personally, I didn't shoot at him. And the video evidence shows the opposite. So the family of Lavoie are now indicting him on it.
So hang on. So I remember after that happened, the film was fairly distant, a fair distance away, and there was like the Alex Jones types, you know, the quote unquote conspiracy guys, were saying the white guy behind him shot him and he reacted, and that's why his arm went down, and fucking then the other guy shot him and they said he was the only guy who shot him. So is this like all proving the conspiracy theorists right, their take on the film and all that kind of shit, or is this something different?
Well, I was going over, because I always take notes. I was trying to find more specifics. I had difficulty doing that, but basically, so I have the exact words of the indictment. The defendant acted with the intent to hinder, delay, or prevent the communication of information from the Oregon State Police to the Federal Bureau of Investigation relating to the possible commission. So they're kind of getting him on the technicality of how he handled it and having lied.
Okay, because I'm just interested in like the 2 different scenarios, like the one that if his original claim was true, how that would have played out compared to what actually was supposed to happen now. Like when he's...
Yeah, I'm not sure how this handles it, although at one point of the Oregon Live article, it says that the investigation's focus is not whether whether the shooting of Lavoie was just or not. It's whether this particular FBI agent reported falsities and didn't handle the investigation properly.
And then you go, well, why did he lie? Was it just some sort of genuine oversight, or was it some technicality, or was it going to change the fucking outcome of any investigation
exactly.
or whatever?
I reckon we'll find out. But my point is that if the legal system is totally fucking useless and totally, they're actually getting a day in court on this kind of stuff. The family's actually seeking justice. Their conspiracy charges were dropped. So it's an actual living example of, on the whole, right, they went and asserted their rights and fought back, within the law, and then said, you know what, I can prove in court that I'm not doing anything wrong. So it's an example. It's an example of how you can take personal responsibility for justice.
Yeah, and I mean, the biggest example of like not having your fucking head straight on this sort of stuff is like, these sovereign citizens. I'm a fucking like I'm gonna just claim this piece of land, like homestead or whatever, and it's illegal for you to come onto my property because it's a different country or something. That's fine, but you got to defend your own country. Then it's your responsibility. So you can argue that in court if they come and arrest you or whatever. So maybe that's your plan, but to sort of think that words are going to do anything in that case is probably pretty fucking retarded. So,
well, then that's just naivete of what a state is, and the monopoly on the use of force almost. Because it's just, I'm going to say these magic words, and because a government doesn't have a morally, they're no more morally correct than I am, therefore it'll all work out. Yeah, that is just naive to the fact that the reason why the state's in power is because it has more, better use of force than you.
But like I say, it's not so much naive for Zimmerman to shoot Trayvon and go, oh, well, fuck, I don't want the legal hassle with this nigger. I'm going to fucking walk away, or I'm going to fucking, like, dump him in a ditch, or whatever, even though I was totally in the right. That's not totally fucking naive.
That's true.
Yeah, and like, there's this situation, Tommy Robinson, the Pommy guy, who's fighting the kebab over in the UK. He did a video recently on Rebel Media where he's talking about this shop owner that had to take a sign down, and the sign said "Don't support terrorism," and they're running a bottle shop, a alcohol outlet, across the street from a kebab fucking store of a similar nature. And they were forced to take this sign down. It's kind of like, well, it's a little, maybe you can see that as a little unfair competition to sort of just paint them as, supporting terrorism or whatever. But, I don't think it's technically illegal, but of course the fucking cops wanted them to take this sign down and threaten to take their license away and all this kind of shit. And like, my thing with that is, if you're being threatened and you know the cops are going to come and threaten you and all this kind of shit, get a fucking recording of it. It's the internet age, right? Like, and I know exactly what people are going to say. They fucking, Taco was here. He'd say, oh, you're not allowed to record someone without consent, blah, 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 right? And it's like, yeah, but this is like carrying a gun into a fucking gun-free zone or something and not using it except in self-defense, right? Like, you can record that shit. And, what's the penalty for recording someone without their consent? It's probably fuck all, right? It's probably a slap on the wrist. And how much damage can you do to them if you release that kind of shit where the cops are fucking threatening you, like, unlawfully? So do they want to push it to the point where you would release that shit if you've got it? I mean, this is like Trump saying he's got recordings of Comey, right? Just the threat of that fucking gave that guy pause, right? So, like, and I think this is a tactic Trump is used to using with people. Just, like, dealing with people like, I've got a recording of you fucking motherfucker in my office talking about shit, But, if you're getting threatened by the fucking mob, Al Capone, if you're getting threatened by fucking these people, you record that shit. You don't have to fucking use it if, you can decide later. No one's going to fucking discover that you've recorded this shit probably, like, just accidentally. So I'm just amazed people aren't recording more of this misconduct and malfeasance by these people, like doing the fucking James O'Keefe thing. And then, say they want to fucking sling this guy in jail who owns this fucking this bottle shop, like say they want to fucking take his license away, shut down his business, fucking maybe sling him in jail. Well, yeah, nothing else left to fucking lose. You might as well release all the shit on them, right?
Yeah, it does seem like there's a common thread here with shining light, with mudraking journalism, which kind of ties into the fact that our major outlets for media just report on what people in power fucking told them or what's acceptable, and that this mudraking journalism, which is so important for justice to actually be served, isn't done. People aren't, it doesn't, well, it is being done, but not by those who claim to be the professional media. It's necessary for, in a free society, to shine light upon those in power and those in these sort of power structures.
Well, even if you like, if they take some shitty video, CNN's probably not going to play it, right? So you say, oh well, if Taco was here, he'd be saying, oh well, the fucking media won't fucking play ball with you and show your fucking side of the story, right? True. But if you could take it to court, get it before a judge. I mean, it's like, in the end, all these things where you talk about, there's some big movement by SJWs to against white people or against fucking like Western civilization or whatever, that's a problem you can't personally fix. But you can, like, if a fucking SJW comes up to you and fucking does something that's fucking unlawful, unjustified, like a cop giving you an unlawful order. If you got fucking proof of that and you say fucking no, and then he arrests you for like resisting arrest, right? Like that kind of shit happens. When the confrontation was illegal in the first place, and you got proof of that, he's going to have a really bad time in court, right? Where fucking and maybe no one will ever fucking know about it. Maybe it won't go on TV. Maybe Alex Jones won't fucking play it for you. He's busy doing fucking something about reptoid aliens or fucking something, right?
They're turning the fucking frogs gay.
I mean, you just got to do this on an individual basis and just think like free men. That's my kind of message.
Yeah, and with that, I think we'll make some closing statements. Iron Man Australia, any final thoughts?
Yeah, don't believe that bitch Lacey Green. Fucking, there's a bunch of fucking people white knighting for her now, like people on quote unquote our side. Oh, look, she apologized, she cried, her and Sargon hugged it out, so it's all okay now. She's one of us, kind of shit. Nah, this is bullshit. Like, fucking, that's not like, get a fucking argument out of the bitch like that. We can show she fucking understands.
We can go a little longer because I really want to talk about this. Actually.
Okay, well, did you see the video? I saw a video of someone playing the video and commenting on it and white knighting and shit.
The video where she's saying that she's, she's listened to people who have sort of a more anti-SJW viewpoint, and that she can't argue with some of them because if you can be transgender, then you can be transracial, and that doesn't make sense. Is that...
No, that's a fair way back. Because recently you had VidCon. Like, over this last week, you've had all these faggots go to VidCon and meet face-to-face, right? So you had the Sarkeesian little drama and all this sort of shit, right? So Lacey Green met Sargon in person. And they're saying, oh, people are mean on the internet, but in person, you're fucking nicer and all this kind of shit. And, so they decided that they're fucking, he's apologized for some of the things he said about her and all this sort of shit. And it's kind of like, no, fuck off. Like, she's on the internet making arguments, right? And my argument is, you're a dumb bitch. I'd call you a dumb bitch to your fucking face, right? That, the fact you're making bad arguments doesn't make you necessarily a bad person, unless you're KK, right? Like, fucking,
yes.
If you're saying you're not a faggot and you like chicks with dicks, right? No, you're a faggot, right? I tell you that to your face, right? Fucking, if you want to fight about it, it doesn't change my fucking opinion in real fucking in my mind, right? Even if you win, which he wouldn't, because he's a little fucking girly arm puss boy. But like, it's she's basically selling an emotional argument, still selling an emotional argument, using fucking SJW logic and buzzwords and bullshit to say, oh no, it's fucking all okay now and all this shit. And she's, the thing that pissed me off, she's sort of like, well, fuck you if you don't don't like my opinion or something, it's kind of like, well, now you're first you're like all apologetic, now you're attacking people, right? So she's putting herself up on this soapbox again. It's like, fuck you, get off the soapbox. You're wrong. Fuck off. You're a false prophet. Like, just fuck off.
Well, how quick the so-called skeptic, because I have sort of like one foot in the skeptic movement, like, or well, one toe, I kind of try to feel the landscape, and how quick the, Kekistani, oh, I'm against SJW types just immediately, oh my God, Lacey Green, she's red pilled or whatever. And it's like, well, I don't think she is. I think that she just realized that the other people making the arguments on the other side weren't completely and utterly wrong and evil misogynists. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. And then at what point, why is she valid or should be held up when literally the only reason why you know about her is because she disagreed with you for so long? Why do you value her opinion? Yeah, she doesn't. Everything that
Also,
I've heard, it's just
on a related topic. I'd like to point out that the reason there's two obvious reasons that Sargon would want to hug it out and cry like with this chick, right? Like we know what those two reasons are, right? We all know why in person, this chick with her two reasons, upfront two reasons would want to hug, right? Like why he would fucking do that, or why he might be inclined to do that, more inclined.
Yeah, I think Sargon likes Jewish women. Is that what you're proposing?
You get a little feel of some titties, fuck this bitch, man. Like she's using all her fucking little talents to spin this shit. I'm not buying.
Well, it's this little, high verbal IQ, not really making an argument kind of thing. And I see it. I just don't. I do this thing. And I try to do it with relationships with women or when women are talking. If this was a man, would I care? Or if this was a man, would I spend time or invest any resources in listening or spending time with? And if the answer is no, then at what point, why are you overvaluing their opinion there? It's just this.
Well, some of them are probably it's probably pious fraud, right? Like they're thinking, well, if we get her on our side, we can use her fucking titties against the other side, right? And she's all pissed off with them. They're all pissed off with her for fucking being a turncoat or whatever, right? And then we're gonna fucking we're gonna spin her around, aim those titties right back at them, and fucking she's gonna be working for us now and getting all the fucking little boys to jerk off over fucking men's rights or something, right?
I hadn't thought about that. Yeah. I mean, if that's literally a concerted strategy on their part, then I can't really argue against it. We'll see if it works out, but it seemed to me to just kind of be this she's red pilled now, and it's like, well, if any guy said this, you would call him a cuck. You'd call him nothing special. She's literally just saying that you can't be that transgenderism isn't basically real and that some of the third wave feminism isn't true. It's like...
Well, I can compare it to... There's this Australian chick, right? And she named Joanne Nova. And she was environmentalist. Like when I was a kid, okay, they had it's kind of like the Bill Nye show, right? Like fucking they had a show called the Curiosity Show. A couple of guys who knew what they were fucking talking about with science, and they'd make stuff out of bog rolls and toilet rolls and fucking little experiments and bullshit, right? And it was a pretty good show, And then during the 80s, it got all this environmental Captain Planet kind of shit, like some of these shows. So these guys were doing actual fucking science and engineering and stuff that would interest boys, so they got rid of that. They got a couple of chicks that were dumb as dog shit, and a puppet to fucking like do a science show now, right? That's called Y, the letter Y with an exclamation mark. That was the name of the show. It's fucking almost impossible to Google. And yeah, so this Joanne Nova, she was on this show, and she was an environmentalist at the time, and she's doing all these, you know, it's like science. All they care about now is the environment. That's all they do now, right? So she's doing all these experiments, and it's really funny because there's a pre-recorded show, and they do an experiment, and it wouldn't work. And they just sort of, oh, well, that didn't work. But, you know, it does. Trust us, you know, this kind of thing. They're really fucking stupid, right? Yeah. I've been trying to get hold of the tapes of this fucking thing because it's just ridiculous. Like, example of 80s environmentalism, right? But she's fucking, with all this global warming shit, she fucking flipped and she went, no, fuck this global warming crap. This is a bunch of shit, right? And she's got a blog now, and she's actually making fucking arguments. And it's kind of like, well, I fucking buy into her shit. Like I will not necessarily buy into it, but I'm willing to hear her out because she's actually making fucking arguments. She's not doing some emotional fucking appeal. She's not, I'm just a poor little girl. She's not fucking doing any of this fucking bullshit. She's just like going, oh no, well, this is not true, you know, and this is what's actually true now, right? You know? If Lisa Green was
not acting like KK,
there's no pay gap. You know,
yeah,
that was all bullshit. You know, there's a nothing burger.
Yeah, and what's the you have the scoop on what the alt-right is talking about with the Sargon of Akkad and
Sarkeesian.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because we talked about that before the show, didn't we? Yeah, so she, because the Sarkeesian, basically, she's got this siege mentality because, oh no, I'm being abused and bullied by all these misogynists, you know. So she's up on stage giving a talk, some talk at a panel, and it's the first time she's ever done a public talk because she doesn't like to get her ideas challenged. It's like trying to fucking bail up Al Gore, you know, on global warming. Like, fucking just won't do it. So she's at this thing because she's falling out of fashion, falling out of style. Like, she's not getting the clicks anymore. So she's forced to fucking go to a VidCon and do this. So that's the prevailing theory. So she gets up there and she gets fucking asked these questions, and all these fucking right-wing misogynists like Sargon and fucking you know, all these people on our side with that kind of shit against all this feminist crap. They're filling up the first two rows, and apparently there's not many people there. So she looks around. As soon as she notices these guys, she's texting security to fucking come and protect her from these evil men. And she starts fucking from the stage of, you know, calling Sargon a garbage human who makes shit videos, blah, blah, blah. He's a shithead and all this sort of stuff. So, you know, there was a drama, and they just, you know, Sargon's capitalizing on that, obviously.
God, I can't imagine.
You know.
I can't imagine as a human being just putting myself in her shoes just to do that, right? Have a stage, and then just immediately I'm going to call security. I'm, you know, as they're just quietly listening. Well, that's what they claim, but yeah, just for sitting there.
Yeah, that's what they claim.
For sitting there to freak out and then just verbally attack rather than giving what you came there to give, you know, giving the speech. I just can't imagine it. I can't imagine it.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do the snowflake thing. I'd just tell the bitch to fuck right off. Right? You know, like, but like they're pointing out she's a hypocrite because, you know, people in a position of power can't fucking punch down and all this shit, and she's up on the fucking stage with a microphone, berating someone who never fucking said jack shit to her. Oh well, I suppose technically he said it in a video, right? But like in previous videos. But yeah, you know, you get the idea.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Richard Spencer, Mike Cernovich debate. Well, not debate, but so basically they were doing a free speech rally in DC, and they had a whole bunch of people invited, including Ben Shapiro, Mike Cernovich, Augustus Invictus, and some other people, and they after they kind of done it, Richard Spencer said that he would do it when they asked him. And so Ben Shapiro and Mike Cernovich freaked out and decided that they needed to have a rally against political violence, and that they weren't going to attend the free speech rally because they're allowing Richard Spencer to, speak there. So there was 3 different rallies. There was one that the leftists were putting on, basically against hate speech, like against hate. Then there was the against political violence, and then there was the free speech rally, which it is kind of the splitting off of the alt-right, where you have you have like white nationalists being, you're not allowed to go speak with the white nationalists. If they're going, then we're not gonna go there. And to credit, most of the speakers did go and speak, even though Richard Spencer was there. I kind of find it odd, though, that the alt-right are the ones that had the rally for free speech, and the alt-right had the one for against political violence. So they're kind of giving up. They're kind of giving up something important there. That they're associating the alt-right, white nationalist. They're out there defending free speech, yet the more civic nationalists are against political violence. It's just very.
Well, I guess part of it's freedom of association, but you still can't. Yeah, you can still call them cucks for it. Like it's like Cantwell doesn't have to fucking talk to us, but yeah, he's a cuck. Right? He can have his own little fucking.
If I hold a rally, right, and I say it's going to be about free speech, and we're going to, anybody who's kind of, a figure on the right that's, somewhat known, right, they're allowed to come speak here, or we're going to invite people to come speak here. They're not going to fucking agree on everything, but then to go, well, no, because this one guy, what he says is too bad.
Yeah.
Which I find it funny because Invictus, I think he's a great guy or whatever. However, in his campaign, he was talking about like the legal and moral justification to fight the government and the international financiers and have a new revolution and stuff. And that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly having advocated, having said in front of a crowd of people, death to Hillary Clinton, that's acceptable. But to advocate for white nationalism, see, you can't do that because Ben Shapiro and Mike Cernovich are going to throw a tissy fit. I wonder why that is.
Well, if this is the thing, like, if you're violating your own overarching principle, like free speech or whatever, like say there's a most amusing version of that is like in the atheist skeptic community, there's a blog called Free Thought Blogs, and it's the most fucking Stasi-esque fucking shithole on the internet where you can't say fucking shit without getting banned and fucking.
Yeah, KK likes to quote from there, likes to use that as a source.
You're kidding.
Well, he sourced me one about how we're bombing the Middle East, and
you're fucking joking. Anyway, it's run by this cocky beta faggot who fucking he's like one of these white knighting fucking beta males, and fucking this video of him like trying to like giving a speech where he's awkwardly making sex jokes about this woman having sex with him and shit. He's a real fucking creepy motherfucker. Bearded faggot. Yeah, but like if you're you can be a hypocrite, and people should point that out if you've got an overarching this is a place for free speech, right? If you're doing the freedom of association thing and say I don't want to talk to you, fine,
yeah, I'm not saying that they didn't try to shut it down or ban it. They did go do their own. It just people were talking about it because it was a sort of split in the alt-right, and even quantifying that some people in the alt-right are alt-light. Some people have used that term in the past, and it really seems to be centered around the it seems to be a really weird split between people who are just like openly hostile to the idea of like white nationalism versus those who either support it or don't vehemently denounce it at every possible second and just say, hey, I agree with these people on a lot of things, but we do not eye to eye.
A lot of this shit is it's like this Keynesian thing, right? For example, like, you know, you can go through the VidCon rules of conduct, and like Sargon didn't violate any of them, right? So that's your overarching thing that she's under that umbrella and she's violating them herself, right? Like, depending on how you interpret it. So and then she's the victim, right? But like, part of the problem is like she believes in pre-crime, basically, right? So like, if you've got like a white nationalist kind of bent, well, you're going to go out and start killing niggers, right? It's like the minority pre-crime. Like, she's a fucking Sarkeesian is like the psychic who's like fucking telling the cops that you're about to commit a crime, right? Like that kind of shit. Because you're a bad person, so you must be about to do something violent or something like that, right? When, you know, you could have Hitler and Churchill in the same fucking room under certain rules, and it doesn't matter what's been said previously or whatever. They could have a perfectly civil fucking conversation. If Hitler pulls out a gun, well, fucking Winston Churchill can fucking shoot him. You know, you know, for her to say, oh well, he said stuff previously, and sort of bring that into that fucking room when he hasn't actually done anything in that room, you know, this is the way these people think. They can previous fucking things you've said apply now, and fucking your fucking standing, even if you're like, say, you know, I think like Lacey Green's copping a bit of this shit, right? Where she's saying, I don't think this argument is fucking totally watertight. Like, you know, and fucking all of her fucking leftist mates jump on her and fucking tear her apart. You're a rape apologist, right? You know, this kind of shit. So, you know, dumb bitch. I mean, you fucking hang with that crowd. You fucking deserve to be fucking torn apart. You know, but that's the same sort of thing. Like Ben Shapiro, what does he think fucking this guy's going to do? What does he think that Richard Spencer's going to fucking do? You know, he might not even, like, it sounds like he doesn't even know what that guy's about necessarily. You know, exactly. He's just been told, this guy's a racist or something.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. You know, like...
Well, that's what... Like I said, I think it's an interesting example, and the reason why I used Invictus is because he's wrong. He's one of the guys that is wrongfully treated just as bad about as Richard Spencer. On us, you know, he's less high profile, but it's complete bullshit when it comes to him. He's not at all a white nationalist. He's not at all racist or fucking homophobic and stuff. The reason why he's labeled that is because he doesn't vehemently denounce everyone all the time about it, because he cares about, you know, the issues he cares about, like international finance hurting the nation. He's wrongfully accused about it. Nobody really understands where he's coming from a lot of times, people attacking him, but he's a fucking racist. He's a Nazi, according to these fucks. And Richard Spencer's almost the same thing, right? Like, I don't want to go there and speak about free speech because one of the guys there that also is going to speak about free speech is a white nationalist.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense from just a strategic point of view. If I agree with you, if we're all, you know, reactionaries, we all sort of have this goal, or we're all for free speech or whatever issue, the other issues don't really matter all that much. And
well, you know, there are situations where, I think the best way to think of free speech, like, and I've alluded to this before, is people think of free speech, like I think Americans in particular think of it, like, that means I've got the right to get a soapbox, stand in the fucking public square, and yell my fucking lungs off, and no one can stop me. And that's kind of like one of the consequences of it, right?
Yeah.
But you know, you get all these leftists fucking like will disrupt a fucking meeting or something, and like all these that Posobiec faggot. You're all Goebbels, like at that play. Right?
Yeah, that was fucking
I got free, and then they're going free speech, and it's like, you know, you got the right to protest, and you get the consequences or whatever, right? Like, oh, no one can stop you doing that is more the point. But like, it's better to think of free speech as I've got the right to talk to you because I want to exchange ideas with Alex. I've got the right to fucking do that, and the government can't fucking stop me, and no one else has got the right to come in and fucking stop me. Like, if we're standing in a public place, fucking, and KK's there talking about how he likes chicks with dicks, top of his lungs, and we can't hear each other, like we should move somewhere else, right? But if we go into a private fucking building, like, and he tries to follow us in, we can kick him the fuck out, right? It's my right to communicate. It's my right to think what I like and communicate those ideas with another person, or fucking 2 people, or fucking 100 people, right? So like, I could hire a hole and fucking give a political speech, like fucking have a website on the internet, like, that's my own or whatever, and fucking do podcasts or whatever without fucking YouTube having any right to interfere. But the printing press is the real fucking thing, where you can print books. So I can write out my ideas in a book, print it over and over, and no one can stop me fucking me being able to sell it and someone else being able to buy it. Like, maybe some bookstore doesn't want to carry it, but like, I'm selling and you want to buy it, no one can fucking interfere with that transaction. That's the best way to think of it, rather than say, I've got the right to fucking stand on a soapbox and spout off, because that's not really the whole fucking story.
Yeah, and I mean, Ben Shapiro is not, to be fair, Ben Shapiro, Mike Cernovich, they're not trying to, like, make appeals to the state. They're not against free speech. It's just, once again, it's just this sort of, we have to denounce you because you believe in this, even though you agree with, like, I can't speak with one guy. It's cucky and fucking, it doesn't make much strategic sense, I don't think. Because the left doesn't fucking do this. The people that are against freedom of speech, they're not, they're not doing that. They're not dividing each other and going after each other.
Yeah. It's just, if you exclude ideas, if you exclude particular, as I like to say about excluding particular words, you're not allowed to say the word nigger, you're not allowed to say this word or that word, then we can't even fucking have a conversation. Like, if every word's not available for me to use, or every topic is not allowed to be discussed. Like, I don't know if you've ever been on a message board and had some moderator say, this is off topic. This is another censoring tactic people use. Oh, well, because fucking nothing, like Cantwell even talks about it on his show. Like, he'd start with a particular topic and it goes way off topic straight away, because as soon as you start talking to other people.
Well, this show is evidence of that.
Well, conversation isn't like a fucking thing where you regimented thing where any one person controls it. It's like the planchette in a fucking, on a Ouija board, right? Like, fucking everyone's moving it and no one thinks they are, and it's sort of going in weird fucking directions, right? So, like, you can sort of steer it, but you can't control it. And as soon as someone tries to control it, it's kind of like, well, it's not a real conversation anymore, right? So, like, moderators and faggots, they would, like, have threads and conversations that would just meander and go in like a normal conversation. As soon as it goes someone they don't like, oh, this is off topic. Like, and we got a rule that says no off topic conversation. Start another thread. This kind of thing. It's just another way of doing the same fucking bullshit, right? Because like, who gets to decide what off topic is?
Yeah. And with that, now we really will come to a close. Iron Man, any final thoughts?
No, I better not. Otherwise, we'll keep on going.
Okay. KK, any final thoughts?
I'm a little faggot and I like chicks with dicks.
Any final thoughts, faggot? Okay. Kevin. You have any thoughts, Kevin?
I got many thoughts. What do you guys feel about that baby killer Jesus?
He's a nigger.
Oh, the baby killer Jesus? Yeah, he's kind of Jewish.
It's all people killed.
Okay. All right, Zach, any final thoughts?
Yeah, all the thoughts. All the thoughts should be final. Guess the thoughts.
For sure.
Race 4 now.
For sure. And I just want to point out that Celtic people are the real Hebrews. And with that, we come to an end. We are the First Irregulars. We do this every Friday, starting at 7 p.m. We're an open panel show. Feel free to join us. Subscribe to this channel and subscribe to our main channel at the First Irregulars on YouTube.